Everybody, Messy Coder back again with another live dev interview. This time I'm joined by TurnTheGameOn, the creators of the Arcade Racer, Simple Traffic System, AK Avatar Driver, mobile racing game template, timers and clocks, and NPC chat too, as well as the free gift Arrow Way Pointer, and lots of free gifts. I hear you ask, lots of free gifts? That's right, because if you do purchase the Arcade Racer, well, it turns out that you get, I'll show you what you get for free. You get the IK Avatar Driver, mobile racing game template, NPC chat 2, and timers and clocks, all for free. The only one you're not getting for free is the fantastic Simple Traffic System from TurnTheGameOn. Does TurnTheGameOn make just assets, I hear you ask? Well, no, because he's also one of the developers of that fun little game over on Steam called Remnants of the Dawn, and we talked to Stephen about his experience making a game on Steam. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a moment. You're live. Do not swear, do not say fudge or bugger. How have you been? You're not supposed to say that.
Fresh Meat says he cannot hear me.
Oh, just as well. Just as well, because he was swearing. He was swearing, everyone. He was saying a word I won't even repeat. I won't even repeat that burger fudge word. We can't hear your ghost.
It's being added to the dictionary now. It's okay to say.
It's been added. It's been added to our lexicon. Hey, Stephen, says Joyasa.
What's up? Hello.
So what have you been up to since last week we chatted? As I say, as I know that a game's come out.
Well, it's been a busy year. I did a lot this year. I haven't been working for any companies, so I was trying to be productive. I made the game that you showed a few minutes ago. At the end of last year, I made the traffic system, and I kind of just focused on that for the beginning of this year while I was making this game. And after I finished this game, I continued to work on the traffic system. And then I set up a mobile racing game template, because a lot of people were asking for that when they were using the racing kit. And yeah, I've just really kind of been trying to focus on my assets. In general, I did a refresher to just about everything. I rewrote the dialogue system after making this game because we used some lip sync stuff in this game.
I was going to say that I loved the trailer or the intro videos. What were you using for that? Was that like salsa lip sync with realistic eyes, whatever it's called? Or was it something?
I used Lip Sync Pro. I got that a bunch of years ago from level 11. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Unity used to give away free assets every month to anybody who had. At that time, it was a pro account, but it wasn't as expensive as it is now, I think. Anyway, they gave us free assets. I don't think they're giving away free assets anymore.
If you get it during the Black Friday sale, they'll give you one free asset as a gift.
Yeah, back in the day, every single month for I think it was at least 1 year.
Wow.
Maybe it was 2 years. They gave away about 10 free assets that were supposed to be paid. And then they gave a discount on another set of assets.
Well, that makes it worthwhile being a pro, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I found Lip Sync Pro, and I was like, wow, this is cool. And I was able to hook it up into my chat system pretty simply. So we were able to have characters with some lip sync dialogue, which was pretty cool. Thanks, Rogo Digital.
Lip Sync Pro is great. I played about with that in Uma. And I think I did a video on Lip Sync Pro on the old YouTube. I got that one in a sale, so I didn't get it free, but it was heavily discounted. I think it was like a 50% sale when I did get it. And there's only one problem with it. I think it doesn't do multiplayer, so I had to get the other one as well, the Salsa.
It doesn't do multiplayer? What did you want to do with multiplayer that it can't do?
Just had people chatting to each other with Uma faces, talking, using pun, and going hello and go hi and stuff like that with the VoIP.
Oh, like a pre-configured integration with everything synced.
Yeah, like so I don't have to do anything. And
Got
then
it.
I just went with salsa and dissonance and pun, and it all worked because I'm really lazy. You know me, Stephen, how lazy I am. I'm very.
Hey, if it works, it works. You know me. I'd rather put it in myself. Like, okay, I could take this. It doesn't have everything I need, but I'll make it work. I'll do the rest.
Do you know? I'm just showing the video to the simple traffic system, and Fresh Meat was just saying earlier how much he loved it. And it just as the video was on, it showed with the door open. Just rewind it so people can see the door opening and closing, and the window going up and down. It's my one gripe with Cinti Studios vehicles. That they said they're basically like, no, we're not gonna start opening and closing doors and having windows going up and down and our stuff. And I just saw your car do it, and it just
that's not actually my car. I think the publisher's name is
that's a stolen car.
Alex Link. If you scroll down in the
it's
description, you'll see a link to his package.
There it is, stylized vehicles pack, low poly. That's the Badger.
I worked with him. I made a post on the Unity publisher forum, and I asked if there were any artists that were creating car packs, and if they wanted to work with me, I'd do an integration for the car pack. And Alex responded, and he is great to work with. His pack is so super slim and optimized, and
wow.
Like as I was working through it, there were a couple issues, and I was like, "Hey, if you do this, it'll be more optimized. You don't have to." And he's like, "Oh, I'll do it." And I went back to him like 4 or 5 times, and every time I made a recommendation, he made the improvements, and yeah, he did a really good job on this pack.
How many tries are his vehicles? Because you're saying that LOD 3 is 1,000. That's for LOD 3.
I'm actually so for all of the vehicles, I think I set them up for LOD 0. Because actually, so when you're moving around hundreds of objects and they have all of these extra transforms and stuff like that, that's going to have a performance cost. So when basically you don't really want to have LODs on vehicles, not if you're going to have hundreds of them, because you're just paying for that.
How much more damage is the loading system on? Because your traffic system's got the lovely pooling and all that optimization shenanigans that you've been working on.
Yes, because when I tried to use his full vehicles, we had really poor frame rate. So I just ended up using... Actually, no, he created a custom... So he had those LODs that he described, but then I asked him to create a combined version where all of the parts, like the doors and windows and lights, etc. So there's only one body and 4 wheels.
Okay.
And then the body has multiple materials on it. So then when you're moving a transform, you don't have all of these child transforms that need to be updated with it. It's just so much more performant.
I thought the whole point of the nested prefabs was to get around all that problem and make it more...
Nested prefabs are kind of different. Nested prefabs just means you could put prefabs inside of prefabs.
Yeah, but didn't they do something magical to help optimize it, or is that just wishful thinking?
I don't know. I use nested prefabs a lot at this point. I don't think it's optimization. I think it's just that it works. Because previously, nested prefabs wouldn't work. Like, you couldn't put a prefab inside of a prefab.
I was hoping they did some extra magic to that. I would, like, you know, when you're doing something, you go, there must be a good reason for me to do this. There must be some benefit to it, other than just the fact that I can, have a prefab inside a prefab. And I've always been
there is.
Oh, there you go. What is it?
Yeah, because you get to create prefab variants. So you can have a prefab that's a base prefab. So you configure it with all of the default settings that you need. And then you can make like 100 variants. So let's say you now have 101 prefabs, but you have that one base prefab. So now, like, let's say I needed to change some type of value in that in all of them. I could just go to the base prefab and it'll be propagated all 100, which makes it super quick to iterate.
That is nice. That is
especially
tasty.
when you're actually working on a game. Like we use prefab
Remnants
variants for my game. Yeah.
Exclamation like Remnants in chat if you want to get hold of it over on Steam. It's not currently on sale, but it's only a £5, so it doesn't even need to be on a sale. Hello, Facebiter. Freshmeat's asking you that question that you love being asked so often. Is there a chance for a pedestrian system to go along with the traffic system, Steve?
That's probably been one of the most requested features. I guess it's not really a feature; it's another asset. But
it is another asset. Means you can get more.
I don't know. I thought about it. Like I did a lot this year, but I think my work's kind of come into a close. Like so the next thing that I'm currently working on is I just released a mobile racing game template. Next is going to be the standalone game template because Arcade Racer kind of just comes with a bunch of stuff, and I'm trying to set it up to where it's more modular. So like that mobile racing game template, you just import it and you're ready to go. You could do a build and run as long as you have all of your Android stuff set up.
Don't tell people how easy it is to flip. How fantastic is it?
That is probably one of the easiest flips there is.
Have you proudly made the most flippable asset on the asset store? Is that what you're telling people, Stephen?
It might be. Well, there's some other guys that do really good jobs at some of these kits too, but I think that this is it has more features than some of the average like smaller kits that only cost like $20.
I was
because there's tons of apps that you can buy from the Unity store.
There are a few. It's quite a saturated marketplace now. The asset store for the these type of games, and what as you say, like it's got a load more features than some of the others. Come on, let's do a bit of pimping for the mobile racing game. I've been a bad friend because I don't really do much mobile, so I haven't really checked it out. I'm not that bad a friend because we're chatting now. Bye, Stephen. But here we go. This is a chance to pimp out the mobile racing game template. Why should somebody buy this and not another kit on the asset store?
I don't know. Well, what's the other comparable kit? I don't know if there is a comparable most mobile racing template. I think that's why I made it. I think the only other one is High Road Engine, which is more like Micro Machines, but I don't think that has like vehicle customization. And like this one, for example, the car has manual transmission or automatic transmission. You could change the colors. Can
you add like different different bonnets and when you upgrade the wheels and a spoiler and other car buzzwords?
You'd have to do that on your own, but you have the menu scene set up and you have some other like all of the data that's being hooked up and referenced and all of that's available. So basically it has like a little API for you to query how much money the player has, etc., and some UI screens set up, and you could use that as a base to build out your own scene.
So it's all extendable. If you wanted to add more features like wheels and changing the wheels and bonnet, not just changing the colors and stuff, you could then. That's what you're saying.
Right. One of the things that I want to do with this kit is I want to get to the point where I can have it be fully modular, so you could use any type of player controller.
Ooh.
I think the actual biggest question I get for the racing is, can I use boats? Can I use, I don't know, spaceships? Can I use anything? And I always have to say, no, you have to change the references. So I want to try to make it modular. And the more you do with the car, and if you integrate that into the actual system, it kind of becomes hard-coded. So it becomes less universal, where I'm trying to get to the point where it's more universal.
So you could have it like universal as in it's a vehicle, so not car specific, and if there was attributes to the controller that you're passing through, that's when it gets a little bit more complicated, isn't it? So like if you're saying by changing the wheels you're getting more traction, so then you have to modify the controller's traction settings. And you already got integration in the arcade racer with Eddie's vehicle
Right.
template. But is the mobile one also hooked up for that, or is that not working?
No, that might come in the future. I haven't had anybody request it yet. One of the things that I learned is that I don't know, I might have shared this with you in the past. You could kind of like just put your head down and go and add a ton of features, and then nobody will care that they exist.
Yeah.
And it's not going to make you any extra money. And like the goal is to pay the bills, So I try to keep a pulse of what people are requesting and what they have requested. So like as time goes on, if you've paid attention to my work, you've seen me like iterate on the original racing game template multiple times over the last like 6 years. And I just plan on continuing to do that until I feel like like Edie's vehicle physics is rock solid. Like, and I kind of want to get my template to that point. And then I think if other people can just throw in any type of controller without like the actual base needing to know that you have a car controller, I think that's where I want to be.
Like you were really open last time you came on, and you spoke about how you basically, like you say now, did so many updates over the years, and non-charge. You didn't pay for charge anyone to paid upgrades or anything. So it got to the point where you basically were doing all of this additional work and were getting hardly any income from it, because all your existing users were getting it for free, and there weren't that many new people coming, especially with the change to the asset store at that time, where visibility was really hit hard. I recall you saying. So it was a very I'm gonna say like a very moving chat we had last time, because a lot of people don't realise that you could actually invest 6 months, a year's worth of your time on an asset, and it turns out that because you don't have that much exposure, or maybe not everyone's looking for that kind of kit, you don't have the sales to justify the amount of time that you spent working on it.
Yeah, that was a rough time for me. I learned a lot, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I think any developer that's public facing needs to learn. Because if you want to be successful in creating digital products, whether it's games or assets, you need to understand what's going to happen once you publish it. And if you have no vision of what's going to happen and you're just hoping or guessing, you're kind of doing the wrong thing. And that's where that like putting your head down and just adding features, it's not a good thing to do. What I ended up doing after that was saying, you know what, I'm going to step away from the asset store and work on a game. It wasn't Remnants of the Dawn, it was my racing game, because that's why I have this kit, is because I've been trying to get to the point where I can make a game that I feel good about releasing to Steam, and maybe try to take it to console or something. That was always the goal. And I think everybody realizes at some point, like, that's a lot of work. And I've realized that. So what I do is I've been iterating on my code base so that I can actually make the game that I want to make without it being a technical challenge. I want it to be a creative process. Anyway, that's when the traffic system came, because once I started my game, I was like, hey, I need more optimized traffic, and enter the C# job system and burst compiler. I was having fun with it. And then people were like, hey, I want that traffic system. I'm like, no, I'm making it for my game. They're like, can you put it on the store? And I said, no. And then people kept asking me. And finally I was like, maybe there's something here that I'm not seeing. And I think that there was, because the traffic system had good reception.
I was going to say that, was that kind of like that hostility, or that Well, is that a strong word? But I kind of feels a little bit against putting another asset on the store because of the history of the arcade racer, how much time you'd spent supporting it, upgrading it on the store, and now the thought of doing that again with a fresh new asset kind of put you off.
Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, I think that, like, when I look back at it, it was definitely that I put my head down and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't strategize enough, and I was just hoping. It was a good experience from a learning perspective, but, like, when you're trying to build a business, that's not the right thing to do.
And it's been really, really successful. I mean, everyone I speak to and talking about your traffic system, lots of people have got it. They love it. Basically, it does what it says on the tin.
I've had some, like, really positive reviews, and it definitely made me feel good. So it was definitely a good motivational experience.
So has it rekindled your love then for the asset store? Because since then, obviously, you've got the mobile racing games to play on there as well now.
Well, I got a lot of feedback because, I mean, basically I had no idea what I was doing last year or last time we talked about it. And I think some of the feedback was like, hey, why don't you modularize some of your stuff? Because I was putting all of this work into this big template. I was like, hey, I spent like 5 years making this. I don't want to give this away for $60 just so somebody can say, blah, 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 add this feature. Because that's kind of what had been happening. But since I've been modularizing everything, it kind of feels like it makes it more accessible. And like I'm not forcing somebody to buy all of the development that I've done. Like they can just choose the piece that they want. And I think just working on a traffic system allowed me to not have it be part of a bigger project. Because when you work on a project, any little thing that you change could affect other things. And that's part of the learning curve for a developer, is learning how to handle those situations. But yeah, it was really nice to just work on an asset that did one thing, which was traffic. And it turned out to be a good experience. So yeah, I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy that people are enjoying it. I've seen some people make some stuff with it. I've inspired some people that I've heard from. And overall, it's just been a really good experience.
Hopefully then, because you're saying it's the most frequently asked question for a new feature, that the pedestrian one is going to come hot on its heels, because you need that in your racing game, because you need to have people in the background. You know,
do you?
Well, yeah, because it breathes life into it. It really does.
See, I don't know if I'm going to have people in my racing game, which is why, like, to me, it's not a necessity. So the game that I'm going to make, it's basically, do you remember, like, Midnight Club for the original PlayStation? Or maybe it was PlayStation 2?
No, the only racing I ever played on the original PlayStation was, what was it called? Gran Turismo, or whatever it was called.
So Midnight Club was like, they would drop you in like a random city, had a generic name or something. Maybe it was New York, I don't know. Anyway, it was kind of cartoonish, and you had these characters that had really wacky personalities, and they would kind of be like condescending in a way. So every time you would beat a race, you'd meet a new character, and he'd kind of be talking smack to you. And then you'd have to go and race him, and then he's talking smack to you while you're racing. And really, it was just like a really arcadey, fun experience where that was the basic gameplay loop. You'd have this wacky character talking a bunch of smack to you, and then you'd load into the race scene and you'd race, and then he'd be talking smack to you while you race, and then you'd beat him, and you'd go on to the next character. And that's kind of what I want to make, something similar to that, because I don't think they make racing games like that anymore. So for me personally, no, I don't really need pedestrians for that game.
Of course you do. You need them. You need them to be shocked by the smack talk, and they go, "Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Or
there's
to
a
mow them down accidentally. Add another level to it.
there's a guy that made a pedestrian tutorial. He didn't call it a pedestrian tutorial. He called
I've
it a
seen
traffic
that.
tutorial
Yeah,
on
I've seen
YouTube.
that. Yeah.
And it's a decent like implementation. So if you followed that tutorial, you'd have people walking around. And if you were somewhat comfortable with coding, you could probably adjust the code a little bit to redefine their behaviors for whatever imperfections are there. But yeah, the thing about pedestrians is that's a humanoid animation, and the reason the traffic system, to me, it was kind of easy. Like it was hard building the logic that I built for 2 years and doing research and development while I was building the racing kit. But once I had that, I was able to kind of rewrite it. Basically, I've been working with cars for a lot of time, many years, and I haven't really been working with humanoids as much. So
Wow, humans always
I guess
worse
that's
than, aren't
a
they?
slight learning curve. I'm not afraid of it, but I just don't have a need for it. Whereas all of the stuff that I've made, it's stuff that I will use in my game.
I love that Freshie's like, but we need it. It's like, you need to do a far better job of convincing him, Freshie. You need to do a far better job of convincing him.
I I know it would be popular, and I know it would be worth the time to do. So I don't know. I think that if I needed models, I'm pretty sure I could just use Make Human, and I think it's okay to republish and redistribute those models. So I don't I don't see any technical or like I don't see any technical challenges in building it other than I have to build it.
So you can see it could be fun. You do love a You do love a challenge.
I do love a challenge, but the thing is, like, this traffic system, I had a need for it too, which was where some of the passion came from. It's really hard for people to make. Maybe I'm speaking for myself, but it's hard for me to make things if I'm not passionate about it. I just feel like, this is not fun. Let me play some StarCraft.
So Fresh needs to find a way to make you passionate about it. He's good at that. He has an ability to make people passionate about things. So let's see what he comes up with as he tries to convince you. Last time you were on, we played about with your arcade racer in Unity, and we managed to just quickly convert some vehicles over to use it, if you recall. But when I loaded up today, there were a load of updates. So what changes have you actually done? If I go over here to the versions, what new funky features have been added in since the last time I played about with it about 6 months ago?
See, that's a good question. I've worked on so many things; it's hard for me to recall. So I'm gonna actually look on the screen and see what you're sharing. So yeah, the mobile racing game template was one. In that mobile racing game template, it's actually easier to create the AI lanes for the races.
Hang on a minute. Are you saying that if somebody already has the arcade racer racing game development kit, so is it added mobile racing game template asset as a free upgrade?
Yeah, so like if you go to your Unity account right now and you just navigate to mobile racing game template, you'll see that you get it for free. I don't know why people don't take this stuff though, because I can see who's taking it.
No,
Nobody ever takes my free upgrades. Ever.
I'm clicking on it now, logged inside. Do you know why? Because Unity's shit. If you look, when I was on the store page, it wasn't showing as free. Only when I clicked on the actual page itself, it came up as free.
Yeah.
So when I look at it, I'm like, oh, cool, another asset. It's not in the sale right now, so I won't. But it's free, so that's Unity. Well done, Unity.
One of the tutorial videos for that racing scene is that I added the spline route creator from Simple Traffic System, but I reconfigured it to work with the AI routes from the game template, and basically, like, you could create 6 AI lanes by creating a spline. So it's like immensely faster to create a race.
Oh,
That's probably the biggest update. And when the standalone racing game template is released, that is going to be brought over to the standalone. That's not currently in Arcade Racer.
so
Arcade Racer was kind of like just a big project that had everything in it.
it is.
And
It
so
is
many
a massive stew, isn't it? It's got so many ingredients in it. It's hard to take those ingredients out of the stew once you've got them in.
Yeah, so when I started my racing game about a year ago, that's kind of what I was doing. I was iterating on my project and figuring out what I need. And as I started building it, I was like, okay, this doesn't really make sense. I'm going to change this later, and it'll be easier to configure this task once it's changed. And I've kind of been going through the process, and some of it has been brought to mobile. The next step is standalone. And then Arcade Racer is basically going to become a bundle that includes all of these assets, is what I'm working toward.
But I wanna sit now, not right now, but you and I got to sit and play with this new spliny whiny that you've made to see how easy it is. Because the last time we were on, the thing that worried me the most was getting all of these lanes and everything in and sitting there drawing one by one, blip, 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 and
Scroll down a little bit and find the mobile template link. There's a video on the page.
Yes,
you could probably just like scrub through it a little bit.
So this one I was looking at earlier. Here we go.
Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, so all of these points, just you can create them in like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
I think. How long is the video? See, mouse over it.
20 minutes.
I think I do a bunch of other stuff, but the actual creation of the route, I'm kind of like tabbing through things to set up. Yeah, I'm kind of doing some advanced features where I'm setting like the desired lane, and the tool kind of just goes and configures all of that for you.
Freshman says, "I'm also going there now." Everyone is going there now, clicking on it. I'm telling you, most people don't realise because you have to actually physically get on the page, and then you see you're getting it for free. I bought the card pack along with tracks finally. You're not waiting just in case there's a 20% voucher on the last day of the sales. There was rumours, Stephen, that there might, every year they do here's an extra voucher you can use once.
I've never gotten anything like that. I've purchased so much on the asset store, and they never send me any discount codes or anything.
It's the general one they send out to. They've got it on the website. They normally write put Black Friday 10 in your shopping cart as the voucher, and you get one go.
I've never gotten an email that links me to that page. I've heard of it, and I think I've seen it. I think I've heard you mention it, but I've never gotten those.
Fresh Meat says, "Feck them. If there is one, he'll buy more assets when it happens." That's the spirit, Freshy. That's the spirit, my furry friend.
Well, that's the way to do it. You
that
get
is
50% off plus another 20% off. That's a great deal.
And Wizard Stone Code wrote in the Discord earlier that he was waiting for it, praying that it was going to happen, because the amount of assets that he's got in his shopping cart, it's effectively the price of another asset that he would be saving on himself.
I thought you were going to say it's effectively the price of a used car.
It probably is. Actually, to be realistic, a lot of what we spend on the asset store, you could buy a used car with them. Obviously, not me. My wife's in the chat, so I don't buy anything. I don't own a single asset. I've never spent a penny. Isn't that right, everyone in chat?
You don't even have a real account.
Exactly. I don't even have
somebody else's.
I've never even used Unity. I don't even know what it is, Stephen. I don't even know what it is. You've also your NPC chat as well. That have you been upgrading that one recently?
Yeah, so that one had another major release. years ago, I gave that away for free in level 11, and a bunch of people downrated it without putting reviews.
Really?
But I remade 2.0, and nobody was taking the free upgrade. And I think I had a free upgrade for like 3 or 4 months, but I removed that because all of the reviews get carried over. And I was like, well, I rewrote this. Nobody's looking at it because it says it's a 4-star asset. I think once you have a 4-star asset, it doesn't sell as much as a 5-star. All of the reviews were 5-star, but all of like a bunch of people just gave it poor ratings. And it's like, why would you guys do that without even telling me what's wrong with it? Anyway, it's been rewritten, and if you have Arcade Racer, you do get this as a free upgrade too. The one that's included in Arcade Racer is an older version because they are kind of different, and I didn't want to take that away from people who might have been using it. But yeah, if you click on the first video, that's the one where it shows an example of using Timeline because it has Timeline and Lip Sync Pro integration.
Oh my word!
So I just
Stephen Facebite has just written in chat. I spent roughly $4,300 on assets this past week. Oh my!
You better make something so you could earn some of that money back.
Yeah. Well, more importantly, Stephen, the real question to ask. I hope he used my affiliate link so that my kids can have some food this week. Oh my word! Actually, I'm gonna Facebiter. If you didn't use my affiliate link or you clicked somebody else's just before you went to the cashier to check out, like I've been told before, please don't tell me. Let me just live in a world of make believe where I think that I'm going to be getting a bit of affiliate change on that one. Oh my word! I'm actually doing the maths there. Yeah, my kids would eat. I don't have to feel bad anymore. Yours is still broken. Facebiter, there's links all over any one of those links will take you to the asset store. Facebiter, any one of those links will take you to the asset store. Any one of them. Messy Sales works. The Messy Store works. If you do exclamation mark Arcade Racer, that one works.
We didn't even use like
there you go.
$4,300 in assets in our game. Like,
really?
We made it on a budget.
Say, well, how much did you spend on other people's stuff in your Remnants game?
I bought Re-Illusion Character Creator 3. I don't remember what I paid for that. Maybe a couple $100. And then I bought some packs from the Re-Illusion store. So I probably spent like $500 on the characters. Maybe 300 to 500. I don't know if I bought some of them.
The clothes look nice. I like those clothes. I'm gonna load it up in a second and show everyone. The clothes are really nice on those characters.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that Re-Illusion Character Creator is awesome. I can't say enough good things about it if you're looking for realistic looking characters and you want to customize them. We didn't do a whole lot of customization. We kind of just like did the bare minimum. But it was good. And then I started with the sci-fi top-down template, which was like $45.
Oh.
And then I used a couple different art packs. So maybe we spent $1,000 on it, give or take. We used some different tools too. So if you add the tools, like I think we used Vegetation Studio Pro, and what else did I use? That animator tool. What's that animator tool? U-Motion.
U-Motion's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. And then aside from that, we kind of just made things work.
Should I load it up? Should I show people what they can expect?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. It's been a while since we've seen it.
Oh, okay. Let me put these windows up at the top. Hold on my screen.
I was exhausted by the time I finished that.
How long did it take you to make it?
We only spent about 4 or 5 months on it.
And it was just the two of you?
Yeah.
And who did the voice acting?
That was Andrew, which was the guy I was working with, and his wife Victoria did the female voice. She's actually she was really good. Her voice acting was probably the best.
I was gonna say she was very good. I didn't want to say anything negative against Andrew's characterization of his of the role that he was playing. What I will say is that I'm sure he had a very sore throat by the end of it.
I told him, I was like, I don't like that. That sounds like one of those like Saturday morning evil boss or evil bad guy voices. Like, this is our hero. He's like, well, you could do it. I'm like, I don't have time. I want to do it, but I don't have time.
Oh, I was going to ask, was there any moments when you both were working on it together where you basically didn't see eye to eye on something that was very important?
Probably, I think near the end, I didn't really see eye to eye with him. He wanted to continue working on the game, and I didn't. I didn't think that it was going to earn much money. I think that like when I reflect on the game, I think we went about this process wrong, because like the total time frame that we basically paid attention to the game for was about 6 months. The actual development time was about 4 to 5 months, and when we started the game, I was working on my racing game, and COVID was coming, but it wasn't here yet. And he's like, hey, you want to work on a game? And I was like, yeah, because I had asked him probably a dozen times since the last game that we worked on like 8 years ago. We made a little Android game together. That's how we met each other. And then I worked for him for a few years. And then when we didn't have any contract work, we ended up just kind of hanging out like on Skype. And we're like, okay, yeah, let's make a game. And he's like, I can afford 1 month. That's all my wife will give me. And I was like, okay. And then after we would make progress, he's like, oh, this is coming out really good. I didn't think that we could do this much. And it kind of like kept that same sentiment kept coming up. So we kept extending the duration that we would spend developing.
On being one more month.
Yeah, and the problem was that we didn't do any planning for this game. This is like 100% freestyle. Like, we're just like, want to make something? Okay, cool. And it was like an extended game jam. And the biggest problem I saw was that we didn't do an early access, and he didn't understand what early access was. And I didn't think to ask him, do you know what I mean when I say early access? Because he's like, well, what do we have to do to get it out in early access? I was like, well, we have to make the game playable. So instead of working on all of the levels, we just need to work on the first level, and then we need to set up the menu, and we just need to do some systems work and release that and get some feedback. And then, but I think he thought early access was something else.
Oh, like you just put it out early in front of other people in the queue.
Yeah. So at the end of the project, he's like, we need feedback, we need testers. And I was like, that's what early access was for. So he was kind of getting critical of some of the game's content, and I was getting frustrated because I was like, well, we never had a plan, and we're kind of here now. So yeah, I don't think we should continue investing time on this. If we want to start a new project, I might be up for that, but I don't want to continue investing in this because I don't know that it's going to materialize into anything.
Well, have you seen anything like done with it on the store?
We've only made like, I think $400 or $500 in sales.
Well, that pays for 8 months worth of development.
And yeah, so I think the biggest thing that could have helped it would have been early access, because it would have had more eyeballs and it might have had a little bit more momentum behind it.
What do it's like $5, right? So I'm trying to do the maths of how many, and Steam takes what does Steam take, 30%?
Yeah, we sold about 100 copies.
So yeah, I mean that's all right.
Well, when you have to split it between 2 people and you're looking to do this continuously, it's a rough start. He wanted to keep going. Like, he came from Hollywood and the film industry and VFX, so I like the story and all of that. He did that. All of the like the scene right here that you're looking at, he set this up, and he's got a really good eye for art. So he brings a lot to the table. But I felt like what we were missing. Also, like I was paying my rent with credit cards at that time.
Oh
so
man.
There was an urgency for me to like make money. So if I spent 6 months making a game and it's not going to make any money, I'm kind of like starting to feel like I'm in the wrong spot right now.
Yeah.
So,
because that's the thing. If you're making this, if this game is released for just to get something out there, the experience of doing it, getting your name on Steam, with a game and making a little bit of noise, then fine, But if it's actually with the intention of this is going to be passive income that's going to help pay my rent, then that's that's a kick in the nuts that you need to think, well, we need to pivot because we can't wait for it to make money.
Well, so I kind of brought all of that up to him when we first started. I said, well, what's your goal when we do this? Do you want to get a publisher? Do you want to just be our own developers and publishers? Is this just a test to see what we can do? And it was kind of like the last two were like, okay, it's a test, and he wanted to be his own publisher and developer. But at the end, he was taking the game to publishers, which was good. Like if he found us a publishing deal that could bring in money and we could continue to do it. But that was after we built a game for 4 or 5 months, just freestyling it. And publishers were like, well, you have a finished game. What do you need us for?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, it was mostly him. I wasn't talking to the publishers. He was, but
it's very hard. I mean, do the publishers expect like a proof of concept? And if the fact that you had spent time and you've got something more playable, they're more reluctant to use it.
Slice. They're looking for the vertical slice, just the minimum viable product with the gameplay loop, and if they can see some kind of direction for it, then they're interested in it. But if it's a completed game, they're not as interested.
Oh, I would have thought that they would have loved a completed game. They've got no effort on their part, then they just have to market it and away they go. It's like Netflix picking up a TV show that is sitting on the shelf, and they don't have to spend any money producing it.
So I wasn't part of any of the conversations, so I don't actually know, but I believe that what they're looking for is a developer that they can like look over their shoulder and kind of direct them a little bit.
Like Tanya says, big publishers want to influence the project. Yeah, especially if they want to put loot boxes in while you're developing it. A bit harder to stick your loot boxes in if you've already made it. Right, let's click new game so everyone can see from the beginning. I'm going to go with medium. I'm going to put my name in here. Messy Sore Throat. I'm going to put the volume back up.
This was a fun project, though. I definitely enjoyed it. I don't regret it.
I love the concept of it.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Tucker,
Oh,
lead researcher at the Arthur Project Laboratories. We're working on creating the most advanced AI the world has seen. From solving world hunger to resolving disputes between sovereign powers, Arthur will soon be accessible to all of humanity via the internet. We hope to expand the creativity, health, leisure, and intellectual power of mankind through the advancement of technology.
Hello, Dr. Tucker. Hello, all of humanity. I am Arthur, the most advanced AI the world has ever been given access to. Let me solve your problems. Let me give you a better life. Just ask me a question, any question. What major to study? What job to apply for? What to make for dinner? Or even who to marry? Correct 99.81% of the time. My servers will give you the most probable outcome. Let me help you, let me automate your life. I look forward to working with all of you.
Arthur, that's like in those horror movies where you just hear the creepy kid and you know that kid's up to no good.
Yep, Arthur's a bad guy.
So where is that? Is that set like in our time now? When Arthur's here we go, 40 years later. So was that set in our time, and this is 40 years in the future from 2020? So this is like 4060.
Yeah, basically.
So Arthur's been let free for 40 years to help humanity, basically.
Oh, he helped them, all right. Helped dig their graves.
How's the volume for everyone in chat?
Stop right there.
Don't shoot!
Yeah, Andrew did all of
Them.
these cinematics. He
One
did
of
a good
those
job with them.
creatures from inside.
What are you doing out here?
I'm here looking for medical supplies. My little brother is very sick. I know they have them here. I can't.
The only
seem
thing
to get
is
down
the
to the lower
eyes.
level without an access
Is that
card.
the one's
I've got
blinking?
an access card, but I'm
Yeah,
using
we
it
had to
shut
turn that
down
off for
the
some
AI.
reason. I forget.
You've got an access card? You've got to help me.
So he was the one
See
setting
how
up
it
all of
goes.
How
the
did you get an access card? Did you
timeline
steal
stuff,
it?
and I
You're
think
not
he was
gonna top
having
the
an
whole
issue
trip, are you?
because he doesn't know the technical details of how some of that stuff works. So he, without me
I
being
discovered
there
this place a few months ago.
and solving
There's
the
lots
issue
of
with him,
food and water in there. The only
which
thing is
I couldn't do because I
there's
was
these
actually
creatures that
programming the
seem like
game and
they're growing in the lab.
just building a bunch of
You have to
systems.
watch
But
out for them. If they catch you,
some things we had to turn off because we just didn't have time.
See, that's where the Salsa
they'll
asset,
kill you. Whoa.
the
The Lip
realistic.
Sync Pro comes with it.
Main entrance.
It does come with the eye movement and blinking, but
Oh, yeah, he
for
does,
some
doesn't
reason
it?
they were.
Just stay
What
focused.
was happening was
Ready? Let's
he
go.
couldn't
Come on,
figure out
come on.
how to, like, his animations that he was creating for these scenes, they were conflicting with the eye movement, so I just turned them off because I didn't feel like going in there and trying to figure out what was wrong.
I would have loved
I think
to
it
have
either
seen that.
needed
Don't let them see you.
a mask or something.
Do you
Like
see
that.
anything?
Coast is clear.
All right, now is the time. Let's go. Come on.
See, she's a really good voice actress.
Yeah, I think she wanted to be an actress.
Well, since you know the way,
I think she actually
ladies
speaks like 7
first.
languages.
Oh, wow.
So she's good at talking.
Stay here. I'll be right back.
One
I can
Sandra-
hardly speak English.
My skin is crawling.
Sandra says, next time, just put some shades on them. But that is actually that is the clever solution. And that's the
That's
game.
a good idea.
That's how you professional game developers work. Smoke and mirrors. If you've got a problem, you hide it. It's like when you've got the hole in the wall, and instead of fixing the hole, you just put a poster over the hole.
9.
So you just need to do
That's
the same
it.
thing. Yeah, that's it. You just need to work out. See, when he's walking behind, I thought he was going to like
Did you
kill
get
her or
this
something.
thing open yet?
What's wrong with you? We have to stop meeting like this.
I have to stop eating.
I don't know what all the fuss was about. It was pretty easy to get in here.
Was it easy? We're about to find out. Dun dun dun.
Uh-oh.
Remnants of the Dawn. So who came up with the name?
Andrew did.
So here we are in the elevator. Alright, so talk me through what part of the game team Turn the Game On did.
So basically, I gave Andrew all of the tools that he needed and showed him how to use it, like UMotion Pro and Timeline and Sin Machine. And then he did the level layout. So he took all of the art and basically did the level design. And then I played it and I would give him some feedback, and he iterated on the first level a little bit. And same is true for all of the other levels. But as far as any kind of technical functionality, like when you're clicking and smashing those things, or if you shoot them, you could right-click to shoot.
I was conserving my ammo. Is it not an issue?
We decided to make it so that you should have an abundance of ammo.
Oh, okay. Good. I like an abundance.
We talked about that a lot. I think there's a lot of like little minor issues in the game that affect balancing.
Oh, I can push her. I'm pushing you, lady. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Yeah, if I had more time, that would be something you wouldn't be able to do. And instead you would be able to talk to her and have conversations. But I just didn't have time to build up the rig properly.
How many levels did you make?
There's like 6 or 7. There's like 5 bosses, I think. Yeah, I did learn a lot from this game. And that, for me, that was my goal. I wanted to kind of just put something out there.
I was going to ask you, like, what was your target? Because I know his target.
Just the sense of accomplishment to put a game on Steam, from start to finish.
So it wasn't like, there was a new technology that you wanted to use that you hadn't done before, or like, to procedural level design or something.
Oh, so I found Unity in 2012 when I went back to college, and I was studying computer networking because I was told I couldn't be a programmer by the school.
Really? What?
And yeah, I went to ITT Tech. They closed down, but I still have to pay my loan. But yeah, they suck really bad. Anyway,
well, if they've closed down, you still have to pay back your loan.
The government sucks. Yeah, they're the ones that I owe. So yeah, it sucks. It's a crummy situation.
My wife was saying the other day that if our kids, we wouldn't force them to go to university. She's got, of paying back your student loan in your late 30s is not a good feeling. Like, you basically you gone to uni, and then it takes you 15 years after university to pay off what you spent at uni.
Well, I'm 37 now. I turned 37 this year. I went back to school when I was 28, and I graduated when I was 32. And they'd never told me what the interest rate was going to be, and I didn't think enough to ask. And my student loan interest rates were like 8%. And I was paying $800 a month, and $755 was interest. And then I was fortunate enough to find a programming job, go figure, even though my school told me I couldn't do that. And I made some decent money, and I put a bunch of it toward my student loan. And just because I was paying so much in interest. But I still owe about $17,000, and yeah, it's not fun. I've realized, like, oh, that's a bug. You should have been able to hit him. I've realized that, like, so I don't have a car right now, and I need to buy one. But technically, I've, like, bought, like, a lot of cars. Just I spent the money on student loans instead. That's the way that I look at it. How many cars did I buy? How many cars did I pay for that I don't have so far?
Well, that's also the question. How many cars have you bought on the asset store? 8% is like a credit card rate. I don't. If my wife's listening to the chat and she remembers what the UK student loan percentage is, they used to say that the student loan was the lowest rate loan that you would ever get in your life.
Well, when I was 18, 20 years ago, I went to DeVry, and I had a loan from Sallie Mae, not the federal government, so a private bank, and I was only paying 1.2 and like 0.5.
Oh, wow.
So, like, when I decided to go back to school, I was under the impression that would be the interest rate, so my jaw dropped when I actually got my first when I actually logged in and looked at the loans that I had, I was like, what is this? This is ridiculous. How come nobody told me about this? It was really sad day.
So would you make your kids go to uni, or would you have them?
No, I
self-taught?
I would definitely not. I'd say go to YouTube. Because you know what? ITT Tech, they showed me YouTube videos.
No.
Eli the computer guy. I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow. I remember my uni. I had to rewrite the first ever coursework to hand in. I had to rewrite the lecture because it was based on Windows 3.1, and that's not the technology that was being taught at the time. And I was like, you can't just repackage a Windows 3.1 as part of a module, because it doesn't exist. We're not using that. And he was like, well, can you help me redo it then? So I sat with the lecturer and we wrote the course together. Over the course of a few days, we wrote the course. And when I submitted it, I didn't leave enough time for me to actually do it. So I wrote it in bed, because I didn't have a computer or a printer in my room, on a piece of paper on my notebook, as in a piece of paper notebook and pen, and I handed it in, and it was like 94% when he marked it. And he was like, I said, how on earth did you mark me 94%? I wrote the course. And he goes, yeah, but you wrote it on paper. You handwrote it. And I was like, that's not part of the course. It needs to be written and printed out. And he goes, well, it's only fair, isn't it? And I was like, no, it's not. God damn it.
That doesn't seem fun.
That doesn't seem fun. I should have got a cash back on my loan for that one, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised to hear that, though. But, yeah. When we were getting, like, all of our material was definitely outdated, too. We were learning how to configure, like, really old, outdated Cisco routers. It's like, who even uses these anymore? Now, like, enterprise networks are configured through, like, virtual machines and stuff like that, virtual networks. They didn't teach us anything that's actually relevant to the modern day.
Oh wow! So all of the stuff that you've learned is like, you've been using Unity now, and you've made your racing kit, you've made your pedestrian, your traffic system, you made the mobile one, you made your dialogue system, you're gonna make a pedestrian system, you made this game, you made an Android game in the past. All of that knowledge that you've had, that was pretty much self-taught then?
Yeah, well, somebody had learned it, and I just found it on Google.
You went to the University of Stack Overflow in the end?
Stack Overflow, Unity forums, Unity answers, Microsoft documentation, Unity documentation, YouTube videos. Who was I watching? There was a guy who was creating a first-person shooter, multiplayer first-person shooter, and I was watching him. I kind of learned some stuff from him, kind of got that thread to start pulling. I really watched whatever I could. I didn't have any particular focus. I was just trying to achieve goals. So, like, how do I do this in Unity? How do I do that in Unity? And eventually I just started making more and more connections.
Lots of small wins, and then in the end you build up your knowledge base. That was the best way to go about it. But your background in networks, though, did that then lead you to be doing multiplayer stuff with Unity? You go, I've got a strong foundation in networks. I'm from all those YouTube videos I watched at university. I'm now going to go do networking in Unity.
Well, so I guess the way to put it is, like, I was the student who actually went home and read the books, and like I learned a lot about networking while I was there. And the question was, do I want to go into a networking career or do I want to use Unity? And that was a tough decision. My first job was actually a Unity job, my first real job, and that allowed me to pay down most of my loans. But it was a tough decision because I didn't know which one to do. While I was going to school, I was really contemplating, am I doing the right thing by studying game design while I'm going to school for networking? Because really, you don't use much of it, but some of it was useful. My bachelor's was in cybersecurity, so I learned a ton about. Yeah, I learned like working from home on the internet, knowing about cybersecurity. I think I'm much safer than had I not had some of that learning. But like as far as like all of the policies that you learn how to write, I'm not going to be like, I probably had 24 policy classes. I'm never going to write any policies for anybody, unless maybe I start my own company one day or something. But I'm not going to be creating user access policies and firewall policies or anything like that. But what was useful was learning IP networking, IPv4 networking, so I could create routing tables. I could look at an IP address and decipher it, like what does that mean? I think that sometimes game developers, like when they see an IP address, they don't know what that is. Like they know it's an IP address, but
they don't know what
like you don't know you don't know the difference between an internal or an external IP address, for example. And yeah, I did do some multiplayer stuff when I first started because I was doing networking in school, so I was interested in that, but I don't think beyond like understanding how IP addresses work so for some of the professional work it helped because I was working remotely, so having an understanding of what's going on helped me do the job that I had.
And now that you're now with your racing car game, that's not going to be multiplayer, or is it going to be multiplayer?
It's probably not going to be multiplayer. It's going to be a single player kind of story driven game, but not taking itself too seriously.
So as such, it basically doesn't fuel your desire to add multiplayer into your other assets then as well, doesn't it? Because you're like, what drives the development of your assets is this going to be useful to you?
Pretty much, yeah. And I think the multiplayer in specific, I want to do it again. I had a ton of fun when I did it. It was hard to test. Like the development time is a lot longer because you have to build and test multiplayer instances instead of just pressing play in the editor. So
well, there's a load of new tools and stuff to help you with that. So that's good. I mean, technology has come along.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not against multiplayer, and I think that for the right project, it's something that should be looked into.
Has anyone
in the back of my mind
to it? Sorry, has anyone tried to add multiplayer to the arcade racer? Like,
I used to have UNet integration, and we all know how that went.
But that means that it should be easy to get it working with Mirror.
I don't even want to try. Well, my problem was so I went with UNet over Photon because UNet was owned by Unity, and I didn't want to waste any time building something in multiplayer that was going to be deprecated.
Yeah, we all had that same feeling, right?
And Photon's here, and Unity's not, and it's like I made the wrong decision because I thought that Unity would be the one that would stay and Photon would get bought out or something.
And the funny thing is, I spoke with Exit Games. It wasn't on the stream, but it was offline, about the Photon, about the suite of products, their strategy, and they've got projects with like Disney, Facebook, some of the biggest games out there using their stuff. And I was thinking, like, is we all were in that situation where we chose Unit over Pun because, or over any of the photon suites because it was Unity's. So therefore, it was the better bet to invest in, and we've been proven wrong. But do you have are there any plans for you to jump ship or do something? They were basically like, no, we've just got a whole new suite, and our systems work on Unreal and they work on Godot and everything. You don't, not just Unity. And it just makes you go, well, I chose, you really backed the wrong horse in that race. Oh my God, it's Arthur.
Arthur.
Where is that woman? Is she not going to do anything in this? Is she not going to help at all?
You're gonna, once you beat this, you go to like an overworld kind of village, and you could talk to her.
Squelchy's on the floor. So like, knowing that we backed the wrong horse, okay, and we need to let it go. We can't just live in the past. As they say, let it go, man. You're living in the past, man. Unit and Mirror, not too dissimilar. Mirror is the open source working version. Would you be against? I mean, the code is still there, isn't it? So you could just recycle the old Unit code.
Well, it's in old deprecated project, and Arcade Racer has been rewritten from that deprecated project. So, like, there's a couple of answers to your question. One, if I did multiplayer again, I would use Photon, because I do believe that they're the largest multiplayer service provider that exists, and they've been doing it for longer than everybody else. When I first started, with Unity, I played with Photon, and it was actually really easy to use.
It is.
And UNet was not. And at the time, and we just talked about it, but I thought that UNet was going to overtake Photon. So I'm over there like learning UNet without any documentation, without proper examples, and with tons of bugs that are undocumented, that people from the forums just post little snippets on what you can do to override some of these functions. And at that time, I didn't know how to peek at like scripting definitions that were built into Unity, so I didn't know. So I was always going to like the source code on GitHub and reading that and trying to figure it out. And that was just a really bad experience with UNet. And Photon was so easy, and the entire time I was doing it, I was wondering, am I making the wrong decision? And like, Photon is so easy, why am I spending so much time trying to make UNet work? Okay, it's because it's a Unity service. They're going to improve it. They've had all these Unite conferences talking about it. Like, no, I'm doing the right thing, but obviously I didn't. So the answer
you really were sticking with them through thick and thin.
I believe in Unity, but I think Unity is not 100% honest with us sometimes, unfortunately. And like, it didn't make me distrust Unity, but like, I wasted a lot of time. And I wish they would have just like not taken my attention away from Photon, because I was doing good stuff with Photon. I probably would have like an awesome multiplayer kit had I picked Photon, because it would have had 4 years worth of development into it.
It's never too late, though. It's never too late.
Well, when I think about multiplayer, I think about I'm 4 years old, like behind. So I'd rather focus on building content that is mostly modular, and the people with the competency can come in and they could take that project and they could do their own integration because it's built the right way. I would rather provide those types of assets.
So when you were doing the Unite stuff, right? What elements of the racing kit did you have to focus on turning into like customized specifically for the multiplayer? So when it comes to racing.
So what I did was, Let me see. I think I have a video. Let me try to find it.
Oh,
And I know you're playing the game though.
that's why I can alt tab and.
Because I actually set it. The old version, Edie's vehicle physics was supported with multiplayer and UNet, and so was the standard controller. And basically, I was synchronizing the car positions and the wheel rotations, the IK avatar drivers animations, and all of the colors that you would select in the customization. So basically, everything was fully synced, and I didn't have multiplayer racing, but I had multiplayer in the open world, and that's when I heard that UNet was being discontinued, and I was like, well, I'm not going to make multiplayer racing.
You were so close. So close. Did you find the video? Shall I alt tab?
Almost.
Tell me when I should alt tab.
It's an old video, so I have to look through my YouTube. Here we go. Wow, this is 4 years old.
Oh! These things are vicious. Oh my god. Turn around and shoot, damn you!
Where do you want me to link this in Discord?
Yeah, stick in a Discord. Oh! Oh, I got one of them. I got one of them. How do I get health?
Oh, escape. Pause.
Okay.
And now use the health pack. Okay, yeah, you're good.
Oh, that was too close. That was too close. Oh. What's this here?
Made your heart race, huh?
It did. It did. I actually may have broken wind at that point. Oh, fuck.
It was fun. It was like after spending so much time working on like vehicle type stuff, it was a lot of fun to work with animators and creatures and do all of the stuff that like you're experiencing as you play a character with a character controller instead of a car controller.
So it's like a holiday.
Yeah.
It changes
pretty much.
The rest, they say, don't they?
The boss fights were the most fun because I was kind of doing something where for almost every boss fight I incorporated environmental elements into it. So you kind of got to like kite the boss or do some different things to him.
Right, I've got your link. I'm loading it up. Let's put that over there. Nothing inappropriate's going to come up, is it? No. This was what I did with Edie's vehicle physics, although it doesn't really. I have another one that was. So I have two that I sent you. Here it is. Is there audio? Should I put audio on? Are you singing?
I don't think the Edie's has audio, but the other one does.
Steve's Garage.
Yeah, I was having fun. I was like, yeah, this is my game. I made this. Steve's Garage. So this was the racing game template 4 years ago.
Oh, the things
Or
that
more.
could have been, mate. The things that could have been, but don't.
Actually, it's about to be 5 years ago, I think.
Oh wow!
Because this was early in the year.
And it's never too late. It's never too late.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen. The more you work with this kind of stuff, the easier. Oh, it doesn't look like I synced vehicle damage, but like all of the animations, those were working. This was a lot of fun and also very challenging to do. And it really taught me a lot about different domains of development. And basically, my main goal right now, whenever I do anything, is to not bite off more than I can chew and be able to see the finish line.
Very good lessons. And the problem is you only learn those lessons once you've experienced the other side of that.
Absolutely. So I've kind of done like the hard learning for network-based code. And I think that like it's something that I can use, but I remember how hard this was. And I'm sure it will be a lot easier now, but I need to have everything set up properly. Like the right kind of home computers and networking to make testing very simple and easy.
Irish John,
And also,
tell me.
go ahead.
There's an advert now. I was going to say that the experiences that you've had. Irish John's been making his pirate game, and he started off on I think he started off on Unet, like the rest of us. Then he realised the pain of Unet, went over to Pun, and then after I streamed about how you can't make use of Steam's networking with Pun, but you can use Steamworks with Mirror. He was like, "All right, I'm redoing everything again, but this time in Mirror." So he's gone Unet, Pun, and Mirror. So I keep on saying to him that I regard him as one of the most knowledgeable when it comes to knowing what it takes to work on all three, because he's done the same project on three different network systems. But he told me last week that I shouldn't back down from Mirror. Mirror's still a lot better and a lot easier than Unet was, but it's not that much harder, he said, than using Pun. He goes, using Photon, the Pun with Photon does a lot of things for you. You just need to do a little bit more effort with Mirror, but you can still do the same things. And he was saying that he was getting far better numbers using Mirror than he was with Pun, and obviously he doesn't have to pay the costs to Pun, to the Photon guys.
That's interesting to hear. Whatever I use next, it's gonna use a dedicated server because I don't want the clients hosting their own stuff. And I think that any professional game, you kind of need to have a dedicated server. There might be professional games that do client hosting, but from what I understand, I kind of like just opens the doors to hackers. And if your game is successful, you definitely don't want hackers running around owning it.
Or if they do, they're just hacking small little 5-player matches and not a massive open world.
Yeah. Well, I played a lot of StarCraft, and one of the worst things is when you're playing a team game and your teammates attack you or something like that. And to me, that's like a form of hacking. I don't like it when people do that because it ruins the experience of the game. So
your team attacks you.
Yeah. And then they're like, this game's easy. I don't know why people say it's hard. And then you got just teammates leaving because the teammates attack them.
Why would your teammates attack you? What's wrong with people?
Wow. That's how they have fun.
What is this madness of which you speak? Oh, you just want to give them a slap. I suppose they must be under 15-year-olds, I guess, that do that.
I would guess, they're mostly teenagers. I don't think any adults are actually doing that. No, this is an old version of the racing game kit from 5 years ago where I was using Unet. There is no split screen for Arcade Racer. So
you got it working in the open world. So how much different would it have been for the race? Is it just recording your position, syncing the position?
Yeah, because that's all I'm doing is I'm syncing the wheel rotations, wheel positions.
Do you need to sync the wheel rotations?
Yeah, because you're on.
Can't you just say this is the position where he is and?
No, you want to see I don't know if you noticed, but when the avatar on another screen turned the steering wheel, you would see his front wheels turn.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to sync the rotation. Otherwise, you won't see the wheels turning. For steering and driving. And then also the avatar's input was synced, which was basically just a steering and throttle for his feet.
Well, that's some effort, syncing that you can see the other driver, his hands moving and the steering wheel moving.
I don't have a video of like the best one. This wasn't the best example, but it also doesn't work anymore. So thanks, Unity. And that's my whole gripe with networking. It's like I spent so much time doing this and it was cool, and now it doesn't work anymore.
Now,
And I know it wouldn't take as much. Yeah, but I learned at least what I think is a good process to restart if I do want to restart that. Because you don't need to sync everything. You just need to sync what's necessary and what the player needs to see.
I mean, has it rekindled a spark to make you want to do this? As part of you?
Oh, I've always wanted to. What I really want to do, like, so when I got into game development, I wanted to make a racing game because Extra Credits said that's the easiest kind of game to make. Boy, were they wrong. No, I just kept going and building on. I didn't actually make a game. I've been making templates and iterating on the code. But I want to make a Twisted Metal like game, car combat.
What's
that? You never played Twisted Metal?
No. Is it like a Destruction Derby thing?
Yeah, with guns and all these wacky things. Like it's like a first-person shooter deathmatch, but with cars.
No, I used to play. Awesome. I used to play Dark Future, or on the carpet with your little Matchbox cars and a couple of dice.
What about Rogue Trip? Have you heard of Rogue Trip?
No, sounds like something you get up to on a summer, really bad summer.
That was one of my favorite games growing up. So like the goal is for me, and I'm actually prototyping some stuff. If I'm able to get the AI working for a car combat, like deathmatch type stuff, then I will probably do multiplayer again and make a multiplayer car combat game.
Oh, you heard it here first.
That's not an asset though. Not an asset. That's my dream project.
There you go. Yeah, but as we know from talking with you, the more you do in making things for your game, they turn out to be assets as well. So there you go.
Yeah, they do. But sometimes I do use other people's assets, and if I use their assets, then I can't turn that into an asset. So kind of like the Remnants of the Dawn game. I used so many assets in that there's nothing I can actually translate to the asset store except for the dialogue system improvements.
Well, there you go. See, there was something. Sanyo says, other than asking if you got split screen, he says that I clearly haven't played with his brother and him. Their first 20 minutes or so is spent killing each other if a game allows it. That's different. If that's a sibling, that's understandable. I mean, you're supposed to kill your sibling in as many computer games or board games because you're not allowed to do it in real life. And Chris says that game sounds like Carmageddon. I never played Carmageddon, but I heard it. Carmageddon is the game that they had to replace people with zombies because all of the uproar, I remember, on the news. People I
don't think I played Carmageddon. But yeah, from what I understand, they are similar. They're car combat games, but Twisted Metal is like the king of car combat. They're the ones that created the genre. The very first Twisted Metal game was for PlayStation 1.
Wow, you say that. We were playing car shooty bang bang fighting games on the Spectrum, mate. Hey, these. Yeah, that's what you call a real computer. None of these.
Wow, I don't even know what the Spectrum is.
You don't know what a ZX Spectrum is? It had 16 kilobytes of memory. Imagine trying to make your game with 16 kilobytes of memory.
Those are like Atari games.
Jonas says Carmageddon's a classic. That's not a classic. Jetpack is a classic. Hungry Horace is a classic.
the difference between Twisted Metal is you're literally in arenas or
Oh,
arena-like
my
levels.
kid's got one of those type of games on his tablet. Loves it. It's clearly made with Unity. I'm about to die. Right, I need another medikit. What's this? Access card. I don't have another medikit.
Yeah, you ran out.
And where's this? Where is she? I've got an access
What difficulty did you select?
Medium.
Oh, go to the right. Up and to the right.
Carmageddon, you get points for running over pedestrians. Yeah, that's why they had to replace the pedestrians with robots. Right. Come on, give me a medikit. Come on. Go into the light. Don't go into the light! It's gone into the light. It's gone into the light, Steve. It's gone into the light.
Poor guy.
It's too soon. It wasn't his time.
And then it says game over.
Hey, his health's all come back. Oh, brilliant.
You're in heaven now.
There you go. That's why your health's back. And who's this bloke? Theo. Who are these? Hi, I'm Theo, the town leader. Traders are welcome here. We have guns, ammo, health, and a cryo... What's this? Cryo changer? What does that do? Is that going to turn me into something? If you don't know what that is, ask Ice. Oh, I don't know what that is. I'll ask Ice. Is this Ice? No, it's Baxter. Hi, Jack. I hear you're fighting monsters. We have had a lot around here. They are very hard to kill without the right weapons. Would you like to check out my inventory? Oh, misses. He's a bit forward, isn't he? Well, I'm going to keep my money for the moment because I've only got 125. But I'm going to steal from your hot dog van. It's like Fallout.
You got a health pack from it.
Yeah. This stinks. Yuck. Nothing here.
You did literally steal the hot dog.
Yeah.
I don't know if I noticed that. Yeah, Andrew put a lot of little touches in here.
Very pretty. What was the frame rate like when you were doing it?
I think we got it to stable 60 or 70.
That's everyone's fun challenge, isn't it? What tips did you learn to help us?
So when I work with Andrew, I kind of just tell him, just do whatever you want and I'll clean up the scenes, like, to make it work. So don't worry about frame rate, don't worry about anything. And he did that. So there were some levels where...
Oh, shit. What have I gone back in here for?
I think there might be an option to return to town. Press go into the menu.
Oh, why did I do that?
Let's see. Maybe there's not. I thought I made an option.
Oh man, I feel like an idiot.
Well,
I feel like a right numpty. Wonder if I continue now, will it take me...
I think it's gonna put you in.
Is he gonna put... No!
But you have the key, so you could just run. You could just run right through. Actually.
Oh, that's so true. And I can get more money because I can just mash things up. That's true.
Yeah.
There you go. That's intentional.
But you probably just want to run through.
Yeah,
Just like go unlock that terminal and then run straight to the right.
Or we just pop back into Unity.
I thought I added an option to return to town. Oh, that's only when you die. Yeah, so you'd have to go die, and then you could return to town.
Do I want to die? Sounds very extreme.
It's up to you. Haven't you ever intentionally died in some games?
I try not to.
I've intentionally died.
Well, I'm not going to judge you for
I messed up. I need to restart. Let me die.
Hang on. What were we saying? The the way you said "my," woo! The text is not easy to read on the screen. No problem reading text here. Are you on a mobile? Are you on a mobile, Sengoku? Are you? Or are you like me and just getting old? I'm looking at text on my massive screen, and I'm finding it harder and harder these days.
I have a big screen TV in my room, and I'm playing games, and I'm only about 10 feet away, and I'm like, I can't read that. And I'm damning the developers for like, why is your text not bigger? So I think you're probably right. It could be bigger.
I think old age has got a lot to answer for. Let's be honest.
It happens, unfortunately.
It does happen, mate. Let me quickly pop in to if you can see the. Let me share my screen with you on Discord, so that
Okay.
so that you don't have to have a lag. Woo! Okay. So that's the please hold music that you get for free. Okay. Tell me when you can see.
Yeah, I can see.
I finally found my solution in the help channel. Yay! Brilliant. Is that the problem that you had on the on your Unity stuff, Sengoku? I'm assuming not being able to read text isn't the problem you were referring to. Right. So if I go to the scenes in Arcade Racer, and we go over to the demo player car. The traffic. Now I've got the simple traffic, right? And here it is, simple traffic system. And I've also got the arcade racer. So what do I just like, use the simple traffic as though it's being put into any project, or is there a special relationship between the arcade racer and the simple traffic system?
They're separate traffic systems. So if you need high performance traffic, like let's say you don't have a big budget for a traffic system, you probably want simple traffic system. If you're on mobile, you probably want simple traffic system.
Yeah.
If you don't, so basically if arcade racers traffic is not performant enough, then you need simple traffic system, because that's why I wrote it, so it could be a more performant than what's included.
How do I gut out the traffic system that's in the arcade and replace it with the...
So turn off play mode.
I just remembered that I'm bad at driving in this. Here you go.
The new standalone template, I've been working with the new input system, and we'll be using that. I feel like the handling is better for the new input system. Whatever they did with like the default values, it's just better. So
they just need more documentation and stuff like that. And
I watched you when you were playing with it in one of your other streams, and yeah, I found some YouTube people that showed some things. I was like, I'll take a little bit of that, but yeah, it was harder than it needed to be to get started.
I actually made a video of how to get started using it, right? After playing with it for quite a bit, and then I don't use it for a little while. I completely forgot everything about it. I actually have to go back and watch my own videos on the input system to see how to use it. I actually like I like my input system that I made. It's not great. It's not the best thing in the world, but I quite like it. It does the job.
I think depending on what your use case is, like for me, because I'm creating stuff for other developers, I want to use something that they're probably going to want to use, which is what's built into Unity.
And because it's made by Unity, it's not going to be deprecated, and it's going to be there for a long time.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I can understand why you want to use your own. I'm in that same boat often. So to set up this city really quick, so to expand the simple traffic system and find the pooling demo.
Where would it be?
Actually,
inside demo content.
It's actually in the top level folder.
Demo pooling. Here it is. Shall I
actually just use the regular demo?
Okay. What's the difference between the two?
Don't open it. I was going to tell you just drag it, because you want both of the the scenes in your hierarchy.
Yes.
Because you're going to take some content from the demo scene and push it up into the arcade racer scene.
So if I go back into the traffic one here. So what's the difference between the pooling? I thought the pooling is a standard in the traffic.
In simple traffic system?
Yeah.
It's an option. Some people might not want it for their simulation.
Okay. So let's drag the demo in then.
The nice thing about having the default one is, like, if you have a large scene, you could see all of the cars moving around.
Chris, can you use any cars with this, i.e. Cinti's? Yes, you can. The only gripe I've got with Cinti's is that you can't open the car doors and stuff. Okay, here we are.
Okay, so what you're going to do is just replace some stuff. So you want to grab the traffic lights from the demo, or...
Okay.
So you're in Demo Racing City.
Yeah.
So we're going to go up to the Demo Racing City scene.
Okay.
Up.
And traffic light. Are you watching the Discord, not the stream, yeah? You're looking at my shared screen on Discord rather than you're watching the stream, which is.
I mixed them up.
There you go.
Now I'm looking at your screen again.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So in that Demo Racing City traffic, delete the lights.
Delete traffic lights.
The lights and the routes.
Okay. I'm gonna delete this traffic lights.
Yep.
And the waypoint routes. You're making me delete that.
Yep.
Okay.
And the waypoint route intersections.
And the intersection. Okay, there's no going back. Okay, they're gone.
And now you want to grab the lights, routes, and intersections, and the traffic controller from the STS demo scene. So the top 4 objects.
Okay. Is this built on the same map as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes life easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the nice part. When I built this scene, I was getting so much grief from people. They're like, why are you spending time building an environment that nobody will use? It made me so mad. Like, they were trying to tell me how to do my job. And I was like, and that's a big part of the reason why I didn't want to do stuff on the asset store, because, like, without this environment, I wouldn't have been able to build the traffic system. And, like, people don't recognize.
I think I was one of those, like, no, this is huge. There's no need for it to be so big. And now I take it back. So shall I now close the demo?
Actually, I'm at the point now where I want to make another environment that's 4 times bigger, because I don't think that this can really showcase what the traffic system can do.
Oh, wow.
I need more on-ramps and turning lanes and intersections. That way I could create more interesting traffic light manager setups and do some really unique things with it. But anyway, that's it. So you can right-click on the demo scene and just remove it.
Alrighty.
And now you save this scene, and when you press play, you should be able to drive around.
I'm going to call this one New Traffic Demo. So now it's going to have...
I think you might need to change the layer mask for the cars, the AI cars, to stop. Oh. How's your performance? Is it good?
Let's have a look.
You might need to use the pooling.
Yes, I think I need to use the pooling. I'm getting 7 FPS.
Yeah.
Life's not good to me.
That's why it was created.
It is why it was created. So I'm going to do what we did again.
So you're just going to, in your new traffic demo scene, you're going to delete the controller, and actually that's all you need to just do all 4 of them. Just delete all 4 of them.
You sure?
I think really all you need to do is enable pooling, but we're just going to be safe than sorry. Make sure we get all the right settings.
Alrighty then. Okay. This is a good City Skylines. This is a good test to say we went from 8 FPS to 2.5 FPS. We've done so much better.
Wow. Oh, you know what? We don't have a pooling setup. So you have an error.
There you go. 668 errors is actually what we've got. Cool. So, what do we have to do?
Go up to the traffic controller and we need to go to the pooling tab. You need to assign the center point. So that's typically your camera. So if you expand the player car, you could probably just grab the camera reference and use that.
This one? Car camera?
Expand that one, though, a little bit more.
Main camera?
Yeah, the main camera. I think that's all you should need.
There are no errors when you can clear them and they don't appear again. That's so true, Sengoku. Never click play and you don't have to worry about errors ever again. Alright.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, right?
Okay, now we went from 4 to 20 to 30. Okay.
I think if you weren't streaming, you'd be getting better performance.
Yeah, an editor mode isn't our friend.
Have you heard of those Elgato capture cards?
I have.
You stream a lot, so the reason I got it was because when I was trying to record footage for Remnants of the Dawn, I couldn't get a good frame rate while I was recording. So I had to actually set up another PC to play Remnants of the Dawn on, and then I streamed it into OBS.
That's pretty much
through the capture card.
What I do is I've got my downstairs computer is the one that's actually streaming, and OBS upstairs is using the NewTek plugin to stream from upstairs to downstairs, and downstairs is the one that's using up most of the CPU. So my OBS is using only 20% of my CPU.
Okay.
What version of Unity? This is using 2019.4.1.
So you probably noticed one of the big differences between this traffic system and the built-in traffic system is that you have more cars.
Yes, there's a lot more cars. Is there an option to make the traffic correct for the US/England? Very good question. I think we spoke about this last time you were on, if we can change it to be driving on the correct side of the road.
Yeah, so really it's you just lay out the points in the opposite manner. So in this city, I laid them out on the right side.
I think we did that on the stream, didn't we, last time? And it was
we
were trying to do the intersection changes.
I think we might have, yeah. It's a lot easier now because there's tons of cool tools. Yeah, like from I remember the one you're talking about. Yeah, all of those, everything that we did in that, there's ways to automate a lot of it now.
Oh, nice.
Wow, this looks cool. I haven't driven around with all of the traffic, so this is the first time I'm seeing it. That looks kind of cool, actually.
Oh, that bug's changing lane. Get out of my way. Stop driving into trees. This is how I drive in real life.
That new input system makes the car so much easier to handle.
So if I want to use the new input system, do I just enable it and then what do I do?
No, you got to wait for me to finish the update and release it. That's what I'm currently working on.
This is why you take the bus. This is why I take the bus and take the train. Although
good thing there's no cops.
I was going to say, when are you going to add the cops into the traffic system?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if I will. I might. It has to be set up in a way that it makes sense. And if it's like has an imperfection, that means that it still needs to work or additional work for it to be used in some people's use cases, then I won't do anything like that. And I just haven't developed a chase car like that. Because there would be some special logic that a cop car might need. For example, he might go around and use other lanes, and he might not care about the waypoint's directions. So he might want those to... So he might travel in the opposite direction in the opposite lane sometimes. Which means that the underlying waypoint systems for this particular system would need to be able to support that type of vehicle type. There is a vehicle type in this system now, and some logic is being used for pooling. So and also while the cars are navigating. So you could, for instance, make a garbage truck route and give one of your garbage truck car prefabs the type garbage truck, and then you could give certain routes the type garbage truck, and only garbage trucks will drive on that route, for example, in an alley. I don't know if I'm close enough to AI yet.
Could we do a bus route?
Somebody in my Discord did buses.
The cars don't stop when they crash into me. Is there a callback that we can do that would say, get them to?
You just need to put your car collider's layer in the layer mask. So go ahead and I don't think you need the exit play mode to do it, but might as well get your scene set up.
Exactly. Be safe.
Under the car components, there should be a car collider object. Yeah, check that car mesh collider's layer. So it's player. So now go to the AI traffic controller and find the layer mask, which is near the middle.
Yep.
And add in player. So now it'll also stop for the player. By default, they only stop for each other.
In a city building game, could you build this road on the fly?
Mm-hmm. I've had some people that were requesting to be able to add and remove routes at runtime and add and remove cars at runtime. You can't actually remove cars, but you could disable the AI processing on the index element, because this whole system is kind of structured using what Unity was called dots. It's not a dots project. It's not using ECS, but it is the logic is structured in a way where there's like 30 different arrays that track all of the data for the different cars, and it operates. And that's the part that gets multi-threaded. So yeah, you can add and remove routes at runtime, and you can also add new cars, and then you could disable cars from being processed. So, and the reason people were wanted to disable cars was, I think somebody was making like a GTA-like game where you would go in and take over. They wanted the player to be able to take over control of that AI car. So they had player control scripts they added player control scripts to their car, and then they would just make the API call that disables the AI processing.
I was going to ask you if there's a reason, why you couldn't use this for an open world GTA type game.
Yeah, I think it would actually be a decent candidate. Wow, there's a lot of cars on that other side of the road.
Normally it's because I've caused an accident. But if you were creating a road, so like now we were building a road at one time, and that road that gets built has to have traffic nodes on it, so the splines and all stuff. How does that? Would that be possible to be done at runtime or not yet?
Can you say that question one more time, please?
So the road doesn't exist, and now in runtime we click a button and build a road that goes like here, knocks down these trees, and a new road we can put in at runtime here. And obviously, because it's a new road, we want the traffic to then start working on that new road and have the intersections and everything.
Yeah, so you can build a route through the API. So in your hierarchy, go ahead and select AI traffic waypoint routes and expand it. So as you're looking at it and you have that selected, you can see that this route, go ahead and expand it one more time, is made up of those 6 waypoints. So basically, now if you click on in the AI traffic waypoint script on the inspector on the right, go ahead and
I'm trying. My PC
yeah,
it's not having a good time.
You got to get your potato is baked. You got to get a fresh potato.
Leave my potato alone. My potato's fine. My potato's fine.
So pull out the inspector a little bit so you could read everything. But basically, these are the variables that every waypoint has, and you can see what it's connected to. So basically you would just configure these connections dynamically, and that's about it. So, like, go to waypoint 6, for example, or actually, in your scene view, can you rotate the camera a little bit to the right? So we could see the waypoint, the last waypoint from that route on the right. Now click on the final one. There's one right in front of that. You might want to press F to zoom in a little bit.
There we go.
Okay, so now see how this one has a new route point? It's connected to the last route waypoint that you were just looking at. So really, when you're building a route, all you're doing is adding waypoints to the waypoint route, and then you would just set up its connection, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you add new routes at runtime.
What about on the actual road prefab to have the route like saved on the prefab when spawning it in?
You would probably just need to have some type of small logic to interface with the API. So when you place that prefab down, it gets its connection established. That's the only caveat. You have to connect these.
Yeah.
So, which is really just one line of code.
Now, don't you want to do a GTA city building multiplayer RTS first-person driving game?
Holy cow. That sounds like a life's project for one guy. And I don't think it would be a very rewarding project. Maybe like, yeah, you did something awesome. That was cool. But yeah. I saw this video from Code Monkey. Have you ever watched his stuff?
Yeah, love his stuff.
He did a game jam racing RTS game. That was interesting.
Did he?
I think he did.
That.
I don't know if it was for I think it was an actual jam. It's one of his recent videos that came out this week, I think.
I'll have to check that out.
I had never thought, like, how would you do an RTS? Well, he kind of showed you some of the ideas that you might put into a racing RTS. The cars were battling each other, I think. I don't know. It was a weird game.
Hi everybody, I'm your Go Monkey, and I'm here to. See, that's he's got a great name.
He almost had that same sound.
There you go. I've been practicing it so I can mooch some of his views. I'm your Go Monkey.
You should probably have him on a stream one day.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. I'm going to just pretend to. I'm the guest host on the Messy Coders stream. And today we're going to be doing lots of amazing things with messy things. I've forgotten all of my skills of coding. It's really me, but I've just forgotten how to code. That's how it would be. I had Andre on from Mix and Jam, which was awesome. He came on with Elena from Unity, and they said that they had a really good time. They haven't come back though, but they have spoken to me since, and I was on my best behaviour. So maybe, who knows? I could try to entice the Code Monkey on himself.
I think he's really a great resource for anybody getting started. I think I mentioned to you also, like, he's the one that I watched to figure out how the job system works.
Yes.
And that's part of why Simple Traffic System exists, because I was like, hey, that's how you do a for loop with the job system. Thanks, Code Monkey. And he responded, you're welcome. And I was like, now I could do stuff. And that was like super awesome. I think he does a lot of advanced stuff in Unity, and he breaks it down to make it really simple.
Yeah, especially as he's actually using it in the real world as well. Which really helps.
It's really good to have like experienced developers sharing their experience.
And I love the fact that he keeps the videos concise as well. Gildar says he's probably not going to come on after that imitation that I did. Well, I think it was pretty close. You got to admit, it was pretty close.
Well, maybe he'll never see it.
That's like saying maybe he'll never see it because nobody watches your videos, Messi. Don't worry about it. You're so under the radar, he won't even notice it's ever happened.
Well,
cheers, Stephen, mate. Cheers, buddy. Oh,
he'd have to watch the entire stream to catch that one little sentence.
Most people do watch.
Actually, it was about a minute and a half. So it was only So maybe. But guess what? I might have recorded it and I'll make an audio GIF.
There you go. It'll be there forever. It'll be your ringtone.
I wouldn't do that. Hey, everybody.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Oh my gosh. There you go. That's the Canadian military for you. I can imagine that's what they say. So we've actually I've taken a hit down to 9 FPS now because look how many cars we've got going on. Is this because of all the colliders that you were talking about earlier? Or is this the fog that's causing that? Or possibly just because it's in the Unity editor?
Probably. I mean, it would definitely run faster in a build.
Yeah.
There might be a higher density of cars in this area, so like if you drove around to the other side, you could also reduce the amount of cars in the pooling. So like, which I think is what you were mentioning, density. Or I said that. I don't know. Anyway, just click on the traffic controller.
Let's go back up. Let's go back up to AI traffic controller.
And go to the pooling tab. So its density is set to 200. You can like maybe lower it to 100.
Yeah, let's try.
Or
that.
70 or 50.
Let's try 100. See if that doubles our FPS. And people in chat, that's not how it works. I've never played horseshoes.
Oh wait! Go back. I have an option unchecked. Go back to pooling.
Hang on. Why do we have options unchecked? Use route limit.
Check. Use route limit. So some of these routes are configured where like only with a route limit of 5, which means only 5 cars will spawn on that route. So if the pooling system will not go over that limit.
Alright.
So you might have slightly better performance. Like you shouldn't have that performance creep because there won't be an overabundance of cars spawning on the routes around you. But I think to actually get a higher frame rate, you might want to lower it to 50 or 70. You're at least above 30 most of the time.
Yeah. No, I want 100. I want 100 cars and I want 200 FPS.
See, when I run this on my system without a player car, I have about, in the default settings, it's like 800 or 900 frames per second.
So what's the player car is the one that's killing it though?
Well, there's some graphic settings and shadows and stuff like that.
I can't drive. Can't drive for toffee. Look at me. God, Simmy, do you want to get in a car with me? Would you trust me in a car?
I don't think I would. Not driving like this. If this is an example, no.
This is pretty accurate. By the way, if you want a distraction, Stephen, we're actually running, not just game jams we do. Fresh Meat's come up with a thing called challenges. Every now and again, we run a challenge over on the Discord, !Discord, in chat. Let me pop open the Discord so I can read out the exact wording of the challenge.
I saw he started doing those. That's cool.
It is cool. It's super cool. It's all different flavors of cool. This is the chocolate and strawberry and vanilla mixed up delicious coolness. So
I wonder what that car behind you is doing. Look at your rearview mirror.
Wow, he's not happy. He is not happy. And the car behind him as well.
I've never seen that before. That's interesting. I'm going to have to try to reproduce that.
Yeah, look at all of them. They're all doing the bounce. They're doing the car bounce.
That's awesome. I think that's the suspension. I don't know. It's the way that I'm stopping them.
It's because I was slow. Look, I'm slowly going forward. The challenge is create in any engine an interactive new mode of transportation, Stephen. This can include modes that are out there already, but not production ready yet. Have fun and be sure to post it in the submissions channel. So,
I created a simple traffic system. It's production ready.
yeah, exactly. So
It doesn't count, does it?
Count. You just said not production ready. So, so what would you make as your new mode of transport?
You want me to say pedestrian, don't you?
Oh wow, that's that's awesome. You could. Do you know what you could do as your mode of transport? Piggyback races.
Piggyback races?
Yeah. Did you ever do that as a kid? You climb on someone's back and you use a human being as the mode of transport.
I tried to do that to a dog and he bit me.
Why would you do it to a dog? No wonder he bit you.
I was a kid. I didn't know any better. He was just a little... Well, when he was on his 4 legs, I had a little riding horsey when I was a kid. So, I that could be why. I don't really know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not good. I don't recommend anyone doing that at home. Honestly. Gas brake. Yeah, that is pretty much me. I wonder if you could make the AI honk at you if you were too slow. So what's the callback that you can do? So as I'm driving, I want to do a couple of things, right? I want to hit into a collider and to tell what is my speed that I'm going, so that when I'm at the traffic lights, a speed cam or whatever can detect if I'm speeding. And likewise, when the car's behind me driving, if I'm within its view and I'm going below a certain speed, for him to beep his horn.
So go to the asset store, the page description, and it'll have the link to the user manual, and I'll show you the API calls that we have.
Oh, that sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Sounds like a plan, ladies and gentlemen.
So I've had... I set up a Discord, and a lot of people are using it to talk about this asset. Probably want to go to my publisher page.
I don't think people will like me for the next challenge. Freshman, I'm worried now that you've said that. Make sure nobody gets arrested, yeah? Alright.
So check out
your
Simple Traffic System. No, go to Simple Traffic System. But yeah, if anybody wants to join my Discord, if you're using the traffic system, there's a few people using it.
Let me link your Discord into chat.
That are active.
Copy link. Paste into chat. There you go, everyone in chat. Here's a link to Steven's Discord. Please join it if you haven't maxed out your numbers of servers. Because Discord sucks, only lets you do 100.
Alright, now scroll. Really?
Yeah. Really stupid.
Okay, scroll down and find the link to the user manual.
Discussion forum user manual. Very handy.
And go to the API on the left.
API,
yeah. And so you're looking for the AI car, but you could query like different... Most of the system is documented at this point. And as people make requests, I add in the functionality to this document. And anyway, so you want to look at the AI traffic car.
there it is.
So scroll down a little bit. These are the variables that you can query. You also have some public methods.
Braking. So you can like go, it is braking, and then somebody will go, "Bim, what are you braking in front of me for?"
Yeah. So you would just like have a little simple timer running, and if the car has been, you just do a simple logic check. If it's braking and the current speed is 0, increment the timer. After a duration, honk your horn. Pretty simple. But yeah, you have a lot of the calls and the states are exposed.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so in the actual simple traffic system, if we go back to Unity, I've been adding what I call utility scripts.
That's the wrong window.
My Steam game shows Unity logo.
It does show the Unity
That's interesting.
logo.
It's interesting.
So it will
I thought I
honk
would have done something with
at
that.
a rock on the road. Well, it won't honk at a rock because the rock isn't braking. So Goku.
Well, you would basically be checking the states. So if you could check if the front sensor is triggered. So if the front sensor is triggered, then obviously there's something in front of the car. And if he's been braking for 30 seconds and his speed has been 0 for 30 seconds, you know that there's an actual obstacle in front of him. But what I was going to point you to is the project view. For Simple Traffic System, there's a utility folder in the scripts folder. So Simple Traffic System scripts, utility.
There it is.
And these are like a bunch of random things that for the most part you can add to the AI cars to do what they say.
Fake wheel. What does fake wheel do?
So let's say you had a semi-truck, and rather than having the AI traffic system responsible for calculating a bunch of wheels, it's just going to fake the wheel. So it would just update the wheel's rotation to match another wheel's rotation. So like, let's say you had 6 back wheels, you would assign the fake wheel to 5 of them, and they would reference one of them. One of the actual wheels that is rotating. So it allows you to have fake wheels.
So Goku's saying, but will the car behind then honk at the other car? So you're to get a long line of cars honking at each other. Well, you can have that in the code that it randomizes it, or it doesn't honk if another one. But generally, that's what traffic is. When someone starts honking, you generally find 2 out of 3 cars will end up honking as well.
The way I would probably do it is I would probably have some variation. Like I would use a random number. So like this car starts a honking sequence after a minute being stopped plus the random time, and each car would have a random time. That would be something I would do. I'll probably add a utility script for something like that.
Sounds like a fun
at
one,
some
doesn't
point.
it?
I think I wrote a utility script and it's posted in the Discord. It's just I never added it because I think I didn't like fully write it. I just wrote most of the primary logic. Like they need to add an audio source in there and actually trigger the audio source to play and then stop the audio source from playing. Because that's the thing. Like I could write so much code for the system, but most people won't use it. So I just try to listen to what people are saying, and if there's enough requests for it, then that feature will actually be added to the utility scripts folder.
Have there people in the community been active in extending it themselves and helping to support it in that way?
I read a review. Some guy said that he made some changes and he was able to get up to 10,000 cars.
Oh, wow.
So I think that there are some experienced developers that are doing some things with it. I don't like, obviously he didn't tell me what he did, or I'd share that, and I might have made those changes myself. Me personally, I just got the system to where it worked and it was performant, and I had more cars than I had before, and then I stopped working on that. So like if I go and look at the job system, there might be something I can toss in there. Maybe I can start using some ECS. Maybe that's what he did. But yeah, some people do let me know what they're doing with it, and some are more experienced than others. A lot of the API that we were looking at, where I said we can spawn waypoint routes.
Yeah.
The reason I added that API was because people were requesting to do that, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure it's just a few lines of code that I need to change, so let me add that. But then after I add it, I don't really hear from that person again. So,
So did
I
they
imagine that. Well, I imagine that they got what they needed and they're back to development. Me
Exactly.
personally, the way I use the SS Store, I actually never contact developers. That's just me. So I know I've done some cool things with some people's assets and they have no idea. So I imagine it's more of the same.
What about adding a nice collision damage and stuff? I think we spoke about it last time you were on.
I might do that, but I also think that there's a bunch of assets that do that. And that's part of why I don't do certain things. Like Edie's Vehicle Physics has a damage system. A lot of people have that asset already. There's another asset called Impact Deformables, which is pretty cheap, and I think that that would provide better impact than I would after like only doing a week's worth of research or something, you know. So if there's an option that somebody can just implement that adds the functionality through another asset, then I kind of recommend that.
That's the Unity motto. That's what they do. They don't invent things so that you can just go out and get somebody else's and plug it in.
And I think that's what I want to try to embrace more.
Take advantage of integrations. That collaborative use of the asset store. I mean, that's the spirit of the asset store. At the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's probably like the best part of it. Like when I know Unreal, like they're starting to have a marketplace, but really their marketplace is nothing like Unity's. And I think that if you're not taking advantage of that marketplace, then you're spending time that you probably could save and do something else with.
I love his little arms. I'm going to start playing with Unreal stuff. I went and looked on their Black Friday, and I clicked on free assets, and it was all like, 600 free assets, thinking it was like 600 free assets added this month, but that was it. Like in total, it was like 600 free assets. And you compare that to, I think, like 20 odd thousand free assets on the Unities. That's not saying that's 20,000 amazing quality assets, but at least that's a lot of stuff out there. And there will be even more assets out there as soon as your pedestrian system is out there too, mate. Very soon.
My pedestrian system. I told you there's this YouTube video.
Actually, multiplayer will probably be out before you do a pedestrian system, isn't it? So there you go. Although
I really want to. I do want to get into multiplayer, but I want to do something with a dedicated server, and I don't think that's kind of commonplace right now for indie devs. So,
well, if you're supporting Photon, they support both. You can have your own server, and you can be in Photon's cloud. So there you go. Let Photon do the work, so you don't have to care about if it's a dedicated server or not.
The reason, other than cheating, the reason I want a dedicated server is because I know for certainty like how all of the logic is being handled, and then you can use the server to calculate certain things, and the clients will have a better experience. But at the same time, then you're talking about hosting a server somewhere. So I don't know. There's a balancing act when you're trying to get something that you want to actually ship as a commercial product.
We're gonna have to have the chat offline, aren't we? We're gonna yay, Simple Pedestrian by TurnTheGameOn now confirmed. Exactly, fresh meat. Exactly. 2025. It'll be coming out, so don't worry.
What would you guys use that pedestrian system for? What type of game? Anybody who would be interested in it.
Well, I would have it. Wait, I was making my own pedestrian system, and I was just being lazy, and I was using it for my crazy taxi game that I still have to get back to working on. And
Crazy Taxi, yeah, I love that game.
So you remember last time you were on, we were chatting about how I was gonna make a Crazy Taxi game. Well, I got distracted on little side projects. And then COVID happened, and double shifts at work happened. So I've kind of like paused anything that I'm doing on the Crazy Taxi. I'm going to come back to it though. But yeah, that's what I would use the pedestrian for my Crazy Taxi. Other people would probably use it for a Carmageddon type thing, I can imagine, where you're running over the pedestrians for bonus points.
Well, that at least helps me visualize what it would be used for.
And Fresh Meat says, for me, it would be atmospheric as well as an add-on for the FPS. So there you go.
Oh, for a first-person shooter. Well, yeah, that's right, because you wouldn't necessarily need it for a driving game. You could use it for anything.
Exactly. It's pedestrians are there. Doesn't have to be driving.
Who has a pedestrian? Is there any? So there's no pedestrian system on the
Well,
asset
there's
store?
a few. I've got a few of them that have been out there. They're dated. There was, I mean, when Adam came on to the stream once, he was talking about Procedural Worlds were going to do their pedestrian system. Maybe that would come out. But let's have a look. You know what?
Well,
Should we pop over to
if
the
he's
assets?
making one, I'm definitely not making one. Everybody's going to buy his.
Let's pop over to the asset store and I'll just type in I can't even spell pedestrian system.
PED.
Yeah, PAEPE pedest.
IOU and sometimes Y.
I keep on typing in for children. So modular traffic for Playmaker. Modular traffic for Playmaker's got pedestrians in, dude. Oh dear.
I bought that. I used it. If you don't use Playmaker, I don't know. It's weird.
I used to use
stuff
Playmaker a long time ago. Most are sugars. As a polite way of saying what Fresh Meat wrote. So, Fortune Game Studio pedestrians. I think I've got that one. Yours would work with your own simple traffic system.
Oh, see, look, somebody made simple pedestrian system. See,
simple pedestrian system. Wow. There's a free pathing pedestrian system. Easy pedestrian creator. All right, let's have a look at these. Right, so this one, pedestrians from Fortune Game Studio. Can you make cars lighter? Hit him to fly, just not like stones. What? Jobfu? What? What? I think this is the one I've got. Jobfu, do you want to try running that one again?
Can you give me a moment? I'm going to use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
You can use the bathroom, but just remember to wash your hands. Right, so which one's this one? Fortune Game Studio pedestrians. No, maybe I don't have this one. What's the review say? Populate your game with wandering pedestrians using Unity nav meshes. Models are not included. Requires some setup. Feel free to hit me up. Tutorial video pedestrians tutorial. What did the review say? No reviews. Oh, when did this one come out? No, I haven't got this. Is a new one. I haven't got this one. But it's probably made using the tutorial from that guy. Looks very like the. When you hit, they are like stones. It is not realistic. When you hit the cars or when you hit people. You had villages. Those, no, he said people aren't villages. You mean the cars are hit like stones? Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about adding the collision in. And he was saying that that's already in the Eddie's toolkit. Simple pedestrian system. Okay, that is okay. Is there any pooling in here? No. That's what you want. Performance is what the whole. You want to ignore all of these because it's really easy to do pathfinding pedestrian systems, right? I've done millions of them. You could even just use my fish tutorial that I did on YouTube and just use it for pedestrians. Honestly, you could do the same thing with I did with the fish. But you want one that's got decent performance and pooling and stuff. So no. Easy pedestrian creator. Prepared for mobile. prepared for mobile. Crowd paths, teleport traffic. This one looks a bit interesting. Let's have a look. Oh, you're back.
What's missing from these pedestrian
Well,
systems?
as I was saying, there's nothing in here about pooling and performance and stuff. Although this one says works for mobile, so that sounds good. It's got crowd paths, linkable points and paths, teleports, crosswalks, traffic lights, and things. So I was just saying to everyone in chat that if they wanted a system for simple waypoints and stuff and crowds, they could use my tutorials that I did for fish. I made a fish swimming crowd waypointy tutorial thing. So they could use that, which I've basically extended in the past myself on my own. But I can't see anything like crowd pooling is what you want.
So basically, with the pedestrian system, you guys are just looking for something that's performance friendly.
Exactly.
That's a big reason why I made simple traffic system was what was it? ITS, Intelligent Traffic System. They were really the only option, and I don't think it was super performant. And I remember having issues, and I bought the DLL version, so
yeah, I got that.
I would have had to pay him $200 to get the source code, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, I've got that. I got that version. I've never used
And that's
it.
why I made simple traffic system. I used it once, and I wasn't impressed. I felt limited by the DLL.
Yeah, I regret that purchase, to be honest. I feel like I just I was young and foolish, and it was in a sale. I think it was 70% off, and I was like, oh, this is good. This pooling system by Mel Georgiou. And Callow Creations also has his own pooling. Where is it? It's got a picture of a swimming pool or something on the front of it. Where is it? Why isn't it on the front page? That's odd. Here's a thing about Unity, and it's if I type in Callow. Here we go. Pool everything. Here it is. So he's got a free. Try it for free. Or the full one. Flockbox. What on earth is Flockbox? And look, Facebiter, when you post a link in chat, any of the asset store links, it converts it with my affiliate code for you. Isn't that wonderful? And it also does that on Discord, !Discord in chat. If you post any asset store link on my chat or on Discord, it will convert it with the Messy Coders affiliate code. So all you need to do is go to Discord and type it in, and it will do it for you. It's wonderful. I think I've got this as well. Flockbox. You could use this for pedestrians. Flockbox is highly customizable flocking simulation. It's a little bit more advanced than my fish tutorial that I did over on YouTube, mate. Slightly more advanced. But you know what? Fresh Meat says that Stephen could build his to include all the logic to use the crosswalks and such already built in from the traffic system that you made. See there, Stephen? You're basically taking advantage. You've already done the work, is what everyone's saying. You've already done the work. Just change cars for people. How actually saying that, what about making other lanes on the pavement and just having it on a layer that only people would use instead of cars? Couldn't you just use the existing simple traffic system and just do that?
I'm pretty sure it's not much work. I'm selfish. I've had a long year.
No, I'm saying like, but somebody now who owns the simple traffic system,
they would need to know how to code to
no, I'm saying,
do some things.
think like I'm literally saying, making instead of this path being this road here in Unity, right? If I go back into Unity, instead of this waypoints being on the road, sticking them on the pavement, and if I go to the node here, instead of it being the route where it says what layer or whatever vehicle types can use it, change it to be a vehicle type of person instead of car default.
I would do it differently, mostly because so when you're referencing classes, I'm not the best person to explain this. I just know what I've kind of worked out through the process of building this system, and through other development. When you're getting references in code, you want to have basically as small of chunks of data that you're referencing as possible to keep your memory usage low. So I would separate the two, because otherwise I would be maybe slowing down the traffic system 10% in order to add that using the same system. Whereas if they were separated, they all have their own little data classes, so I'm only passing around data in the code that is actually required to be processed.
But if you're really lazy and didn't know how to code, that is an option.
If you're really lazy and you don't know how to code and you just want something that works, you can disable the car and then you would have a person there and just sync their animation to the movement.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure somebody, that's probably what I would do if it was my first time in Unity.
That's what I'm saying. It's cars on the pavement without the cars. And instead of the person moving his arms like he's got a steering wheel, he's walking. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it?
I would still make separate classes, but yeah, so somebody can probably hack their way through it and get it working.
There you go, Fresh Meat. Fresh Meat, try it. Fresh Meat says, "Sweet, I'm in. I'll take it." Yeah, give it a go, Fresh. There you go. That's what you got to do.
But at the same time, you could probably just set up colliders using the the way I would approach it. If I just needed to do something quick and dirty, I'd probably use the simple waypoint system or whatever it's called. I think Rebound Games or Rejected Games, somebody like that makes it. Rebound Games probably. And I would probably put colliders around the intersections and separate their layers using the project settings so that only the pedestrians would know about that collider, and that collider would basically probably check whether or not the light was red or green, and then I would probably adjust the traffic light script a little bit for timing. Well, actually, yeah, it would just be the way that you set up the traffic lights and the sequencing, so you could have cars or people walk across while the light is red. So from the traffic system perspective, all of the API is there for somebody to use any other system. If you have a way to make your guys navigate and stop, you just make them stop and start based on if the intersection sequence is allowing it or not. So technically it is possible.
You are getting more and more tempted the more and more we speak about it. There you go. Fresh Meat reminds us that he's an idiot, so he would need assistance in doing this. The more complex he goes down that rabbit hole. Well, Stephen, I think you're up for it. It does sound, you've got all of the noises you're making like you're up for it. And anyone who wants to get hold of the full arcade racer kit, which is currently on 70% off on the Unity Asset Store. If you do !arcade racer in chat, you can get it instead of being $250, which is a lot of money. Not a lot if you count all the hours he put into it, but it's still a lot of money. Try to explain to your wife when she sees a credit card bill for $250, and you turn and say to her, "Don't you know how many hours and how many months and years he spent working on it? That's a bargain if you count all those hours." She doesn't really care about that, Stephen. All she cares about the bill. So that's why you need to buy it at 70% off when it's $75, and that way, when your wife says, "What did you spend $75 on the asset store, fresh meat?" you can say, "Honey, it was a 70% off one day only sale. Its regular price is $250. What would you have preferred? I spend $250 or $75?" And then she says, "You're right, honey. I misjudged you. Here, have a cuddle and a Jaffa cake."
Or you could show her the mobile racing game template and say, "Look, I'm going to make an app and put it out on Google Play next week."
Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a second. Hang on 1 second. Hang on a minute. If you buy the Turn the Game On arcade racing kit for $75, does that mean that you get the mobile one as well?
Yeah. Like, scroll down a little bit. In the first... I recently updated the description, but see how it says additional assets unlocked by purchasing? Yeah. So you also get all 4 of those.
So, wait 1 second, Mr. Postman. Everyone in chat, $75. $75 gets you not only the $250 for the Arcade Racer Racing Game Development Kit, it also gives you the IK Avatar Driver at $60. It also gives you the mobile racing game template at $100. It also gives you the NPC Chat 2 system at $45. It also gives you the timers and clocks at $20. So right now you'd be getting $20, $45, $65, $165, $225, $225 for the price of $75. You'll be getting $300 worth of things that actually turn out to be 500 and something, because I've lost count. It's the bargain of the century. It's honestly one of the best deals on the store, says Fresh Meat. That is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've put a lot of work into this over the years. The next update will be the standalone racing template, which is basically what the Arcade Racer is, but it's going to be modularized. I'm really looking forward to having everything separate. That way I can start working on things without fear of breaking other things and needing to test so many things. Too many things in one directory. It gets hard to manage.
How many times can you say things in one sentence? It goes to show how many things there are.
I think I said it 3 or 4.
I think
I did
7.
a good job, right?
I think 7 times you said the word things. Plus the support that goes in makes them amazing with Stephen. That's right. You not only do you get these assets, you get Stephen living in your house when you need them. Let me paste his Discord back in chat.
I'm gonna hold you to that. I need a spare bedroom. Soundproof.
Soundproof? What the hell are you getting up to in people's homes? I don't answer that. Don't answer that. I don't know.
Mostly for me. I live in I feel like I live in a vestibule, and all I want is sound privacy. I don't want to hear everything.
Well, that's what my neighbours say when I'm streaming. It's like coming up to 12 o'clock, and they're like, "When does he stop? When does he stop? We need to sleep, Mary." My basement is great, and you'd live right next to a heater. Like, what? Your house is next door to the heater, or the? What does that even mean, Fresh Meat? That you've got no heating in your house, but the next door neighbour has heating, and that's why it's good, Freshy. Well, how bad is Canada? Oh, Canada. Oh, I mean, you'll be chained to it. Oh my word, that escalated quickly. Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, Stephen, I'm going to have to let you go. Because if I keep on keeping you, I will never let you go. Because you'll be chained next to my radiator, not just Fresh Meats. And it's What do you call them? Heaters or radiators?
If it's a radiator, as long as nobody's peed behind it, because kids like to pee behind radiators.
What? 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 What?
Good.
No, no. What? What goes on in your house? So, if you've got them chained to the radiator, they only pee if they're chained to the radiator and they can't escape and there's nowhere else for them to go.
Well, that's why they would have to pee behind the radiator, so it's only me peeing behind the radiator.
Oh, President says that he's got a furnace, so you'll be fine. If you try to pee in the furnace, it might burn something off and then you'll be in even more trouble. Oh my word. And
Not going to try to pee in the furnace.
Exclamation mark Remnants. Don't forget exclamation mark Remnants in chat if you haven't yet picked up for £5 or how much it is in your crazy currencies. The Remnants game that's over on Steam right now. Dawn of the Remnants. It is £5.19 in the Queen's money, and it's actually got 1 user review, so it's doing well. Well done on that.
There's 3. I think there's 3. I don't know why it says 1. I thought it would update, but
this is a pretty good first game and bloody amazing achievement for 2 people in 4 months. Very cool. Diablo in space. Remnants of the Dawn is fun. yeah, it's not me. Remnants of the Dawn is fun but frustrating. It's because you're not very good at it.
No, that person's right. It's not polished.
I streamed this to my community and they all thought the game was a true testament to the passion and dedication of developers, an incredible achievement to deliver what they have done in the time they've done it. Now I have seen the price, I seriously recommend a look at this title. Go into it with open eyes and meted expectations. This is not a AAA title with 100 devs and a huge budget that is reflected in the price. Go in expecting a solid piece of work that shows what these 2 people are capable of and what may come in the future from them, and you will not be disappointed. In my opinion, Stephen and Andrew will deliver some very good future titles if they keep developing. Hey, that's a very good review. $6.99 all for Chris. Says. There you go.
It's a fun game to make.
And it's
I really like the boss fights.
It is fun. I am enjoying myself on it. I'm down in the lab again, which I expected to get some more loot. You know, like what was that?
That was a bullet.
Ah.
I think in the lower right hand corner it tells you what you picked up. There's like a little log.
So, obtained essence shard. What are these essence shards for?
That's what you use to upgrade yourself in the cryo chamber.
Ah.
You found the laboratory entrance instead of ice. But if you would have found ice, he would let you upgrade your skills. If you go back to the menu, you'll see the different abilities you have.
So, am I now...
Well, not abilities. It basically upgrades your health and your damage for different weapons.
So is this good that I've got the ability to get more of those things?
That's why we allow people to re-enter the levels so they could replay them, so they could get all of the upgrades if they want. But to be truthful, you don't need all of the upgrades. It's just an achievement, so...
Did you say achievement? My wife says that I've got an obsession with trying to cap everything. Oh, I found £10. Oh, I found £10. Nothing here. But if I go back to this one, I found £10 again.
But you don't actually get it.
Damn it!
I think that was a setting Andrew needed to... I don't know if I had the option is repeatable. I might have added it, and I think Andrew didn't turn it on for that, or I never added it. It could be one of the two. We just got to a point where it was so much work. We were working like maniacs.
I love the sound is when I look at the body. Ah! Okay, kill me now.
Yeah,
Everyone
that
kill
was
me.
an
Kill
Andrew
me.
Easter egg.
Everyone kill me. Come on, kill me. What do you mean nobody interviewed me? I was interviewed 2 weeks ago. I was interviewed on the IGDA thingamajig. I was interviewed like 2 weeks ago. Why does nobody...
Where's the link? Where's the link for that?
It's on, I posted it in the Discord. Actually, let me paste it in the...
You know what you need? A website.
I do.
So that we
I
can
do.
go and find everything.
I
Because
do.
things get lost in Discord.
That's so true. I actually had a friend of mine who was working to make me my website a couple of years ago now. Actually, 3 years ago, he was working on doing my website for me. It was going to be where you could download the tutorials and have like the videos for YouTube in there and everything. Let me find that. Go into the Discord, and then he just didn't bother. And got
Just go
distracted and stuff.
just go to wix.com, WIX.
I know, but it's
Make an account. It's so simple.
I know.
Start with the landing page.
But it's the principle of it. it's the principle that I shouldn't be going to Wix, having professionally been doing it as a job.
But Wix is so easy.
I know.
Why would you? It's like the same logic as, I'm gonna remake the wheel because I need my own wheel, so I'm gonna reinvent it.
I know. But...
Don't reinvent the wheel.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. At least I'm back in the village. Anyway,
I think you should make one, and you should put a little community board with notices about the game jams and the challenges, and maybe
that would make sense.
Blog a little bit about some of the assets you do, and have some more affiliate links. I think it's time.
I should be more professional, shouldn't I? That's what you're saying.
I think it's
time I took
think
this seriously.
You probably needed it a few years ago, but now it would definitely probably help you more than it would cost you to make it.
Are you saying the ship sailed and it's too late for me? That's what you're saying. I need to pick up another career path.
No, I was saying make a website. And I can't. How many times have I asked you, like, hey, where's the information on the game jam?
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of other people who might wonder that too. So if you had a central location, that would be good.
I shall take everyone's words on. And let me read what Fresh Meat has been spamming in chat. Does anyone want Messy Coder to be interviewed? On himself, nobody has interviewed him. That's not true, but I will. Oh, Fresh Meat will. If he's okay with it, it'll be after he's done with Stephen. As a surprise, as he doesn't know about this yet until he reads the chat. Okay. It was more of a
surprise. You got an interview.
Oh, this is
scheduled right after ours ends.
I was going to go to bed, but this is disturbing. Are you going to stick around, Stephen, and listen to what nonsense Fresh Meat's going to ask me?
Yeah, if you guys do if he interviews you, I'll listen to it.
Cool, I do. I shall do it. I shall do it now because, Stephen, I never want to let you go. Oh, I have too much of fun.
Isn't that long?
It is.
Like, are we going to get rickrolled?
No, that's never going to give you up. And yeah, there's many funny stories I'll tell you about rickrolling when you're not on stream, which will shock you, buddy. You're in the 70% off sale today, not for Remnants of the Dawn, but instead for the amazing, the wonderful, the fantastic Arcade Racer. $75 only, $250 from down to $75, which, as we've discovered, will give you the IK avatar driver, the mobile racing, the chat, and the timers and cops. And you know what? The arrow pointers for free. The only thing you don't get for free is the simple traffic system, but hey, it's a 50% off and you can get it for $30 today as well anyway. So if you haven't got them yet, now is your time. Don't put it off. Buddy, I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Yes, yes, I have. Sorry, every once in a while I'll like kind of do something, and then my mind will be like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Sorry about that. It was definitely a lot of fun. I like hanging out with you and chatting with you, and listening to the questions from the community. It's always good to hear what you guys think and just goof around. It's been fun.
Big Game is doing we don't have a raffle. I think we've used up all of Stephen's vouchers because he was the sponsor for one of our game jams.
I don't give those away. I can give away something. What should we give away?
It's your decision. What do you want to give away?
Maybe a mobile racing game template.
That sounds sexy.
What does the chat think? Does anybody want a mobile racing game template?
Don't type in raffle now, otherwise you won't be able to type in raffle because it'll be a duplicate. Yolan, type in jibber jabber. Type jibber jabber or something. There you go. He did a sticky out tongue, so you can do it now. That is lovely because that's where the money is. Making mobile games, as you well know, Stephen.
That was how my Unity Asset Store stuff got started. The first mobile game I ever made was a mobile racing game, and that's why I made a template. And now exists a mobile racing game template. I wish I had that when I made my first mobile game.
Now, 20 years later, you finally do.
Let me get a voucher for you.
Exclamation mark raffle. If you want to join, the raffle has started. Type exclamation mark raffles now in chat. There you go. I definitely want info link exclamation mark raffle in chat. And remember, everyone, don't forget to click on that follow button if you haven't already started following. I was going to say, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't yet done so. It's not really the same as in YouTube. You go, smash that subscribe button. Don't, smashing this. Oh, smash subscribe, and now I've lost $5 out of my bank account.
Why did I get charged for that?
That's the equivalent of the YouTube does it as well, where you can join like the membership thing. So when you subscribe on Twitch, you're paying $5, but if you've got Amazon Prime, you get it for free. You get a free subscription to a channel, and half of that money goes to me, and half of that money goes to Twitch, or Amazon, wherever it goes, which makes you really appreciate the percentage that Unity and Steam take of their cut, because half a 50% commission split is a lot of money, but because we haven't got the largest subscriber base on Twitch, I don't think Unity are gonna buy a Ferrari off this channel.
No, probably not. I think that'll be hard to do. Who can do that? I don't know if there is a game dev who can do that right now.
There's a few. There's a few game devs out there on Twitch that muster a nice big couple of hundred people in chat regularly. So that's nice. A few of them got like 500.
You would need like what, 1,000 or thousands?
Well, I know a few that have got like 500 subscribers. So you do the math. 500 times 5.
Oh yeah, because you're right. That's a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
subscriptions can do some good.
Yeah. See that? And if somebody subscribed to my channel, Stephen, they get access to the subscriber section over on Discord, where they can download all of my amazing code tutorials, and even my own Messi's ultimate input system, or input manager, Messi's mum. You can download Messi's mum.
I always thought that was going to go to the asset store.
Well, it was eventually going to go to the asset store, but of all my nice friends that I've sent it to ask them to check out, and I've offered it to people for free on Discord. Only 2 people have used it so far. So kind of like a little bit demotivated if my own community, out of everyone in my own community, only 2 people have used it. Doesn't really bode well for complete strangers out there, to tell you the truth. So
that's a good point. Yeah, that's kind of like your testing grounds.
yeah, and if nobody in my testing ground wants it, why is anyone else going to want it? So, like Gerland says, the new Unity one, does its job and it's nice. So
You know what I like about that is it's performance friendly.
There
It's
you
based
go.
on callbacks. I was
so is
immediately
mine.
able to
So is
feel.
mine. Mine's the
Oh,
same.
was it?
Yeah, because I've sent you mine. You've used mine, so you would know, Steven.
I never used it. I think you sent it to me, but I didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I know. So
That's what happens when I get support emails from people every day.
Don't try to
How do
tell
you do
me that
this? How do you do this?
you don't play the "you need to eat" card. You need to make a living,
Yeah,
pay your bills, and feed your family. Don't play that card with me.
I have to make the stuff I sell.
Entries have stopped. Let's see who's going to win something you've made. This mobile racing game template. Drum roll, please.
No.
Picking the winner. Gildar!
Yay!
Gildar's
Congrats, Gildar.
He won the Cinti Kids pack as well. So holy moly macaroni! There's vehicles in that Cinti Kids pack. I was going to use it to make a racing game with your kid. Now it's a mobile. I actually put it on the mobile. And Gildar can do the same thing too. We could compete against each other or work together, Gildar. Now that
Make a mobile game. Put some whatever that word is, interstitial ads and some banner ads in one of the menus.
No.
And then get a bunch of people to download it, and you'll have some passive income.
Oh, you don't want to take money off the kids.
No, that's why you put ads.
I know,
it's
but
free.
it's
Make it a free game.
That's like my sons. They sit there and they're watching the ads, and I'm like, "Don't click the ad." But it looks good. Don't click the ad, son. Don't click the ad. A mod that wins twice in a row. Shut up! It's not a fix. Hashtag not jealous. I never said it's not a fixed. I never said it's not a fixed.
So how about we also do a traffic system?
Oh, holy moly! Are you sure? Holy moly!
I think so.
All right.
I can't take it back now. I already said it.
Yeah.
It's set. It was printed in stone.
Well, it was printed in stone. Let's go back to his store page and show you what it is. It's called the Simple Traffic System, but there's nothing simple about it. It should be called the Sexy Traffic System. Does anyone call it STS?
I do. I've started referring to it as STS. Also in the documentation, I've started doing that because it's just, I hate writing simple traffic system over and over again.
Okay, do me a favor. Please, whatever you do, don't refer to the documentation as the Simple Traffic documentation.
Why?
Because when you shorten it, you tell people, have you checked out my STDs? And it's probably not going to be the best marketing tool.
Well, I could start doing that.
Turn the game on, he's giving out
support
STDs.
requests. So next time I get a question, I'm going to say, hey, check for STDs.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, what? New review, 1 star. Asked the developer a question. He said, have I checked for STDs?
Fresh Meat says you all need this. Really, it's an amazing asset, to be honest. It really is. It is amazing.
I can't wait until I get to use it. You know, everybody else has gotten to use it first. I stopped making my game so I could finish this. Because if I was making it for myself, it would not have all of these features because I would have just configured what I needed for myself. But I've done so many editor extension tools for it that make it easy to use. I'm happy you guys are able to do cool stuff with it.
Well, one day you might end up using it. Do you know what?
I think next year I'm going to.
Why don't you enter the raffle, Stephen, as well? You might win a copy of it.
Maybe I should.
Itastic says, "Lol, STD. As a non-English speaking person, I needed to check the meaning." Facebite, I thought you were going off. I could not use this though. I appreciate that it exists. Good job. Ah. Why can't you use it, Facebite?
Yeah.
Is it? Are you not making a game that would require traffic? Or did it not suit your purpose?
I think that there's a lot of people who make games that wouldn't require traffic.
There are.
One of the things that I came to this conclusion over the last year, and it's that I was focused, like when I was only making a racing game template, I was focusing on a niche area. Niche. But then I made a traffic system, and more people buy the traffic system than the racing kit because they may have already started a racing game using a mixture of assets, and they need traffic to put in it.
They don't do the whole thing.
The traffic system actually makes me more money than the racing kit because of that. And I think that, like, when I look at the rankings, because the asset store ranks everything based on popularity, so you could kind of look at the assets and see what people are building with the most based on which tools are ranked the highest. And I think that, like, everybody uses a terrain, for example, but not everybody puts cars on their terrain. Like, if you're building a medieval game, you have no use for cars.
Well, like Facebite is saying open world RPG, but actually you can easily replace cars with horse and carts and people on horses.
Yeah, you probably could find a way to do a horse and cart thing with this.
Stick the Malbas horse and cart on, and away you go. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. That's all I'm going to say, because now we've got a winner to pick. And the winner is Gildar! Gildar, congratulations! 3 in a row! The winner is author Chris. Chris! That's tempting. I need to buy that. Gildar did not raffle. Gildar, you didn't do exclamation mark raffle. Gildar was very well behaved. Won one raffle and didn't enter the other. Well done. Well done. That is good self-control. Stephen, I'm going to have you back on the next time when you've got your next gifts ready for us to play with. Most likely it'll probably be the pedestrians, because you've just said how easy it would be to do, but it might end up being the multiplayer. We just never know with you.
Sometimes the easiest things take the longest.
That is so true.
It's this notion called procrastination.
There's also a song about that as well.
Yeah, well, it was fun, Messi. Thank you for having me on.
It's always a pleasure, and I will catch you very soon. See you, buddy.
Yep, have a good night.
If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now, and down below there's that big juicy subscribe button, and right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.